This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Junior.
The villain, Marty Scurll.
The Mexican Rey Fenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the Busted Wide Open.
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 Boston Wide Open.
Busted Wide Open podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome everybody to BWO Live, coming to you from Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. Oh, welcome to episode number 316 of Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And utterly chuffed that we now officially have a show plug from the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion of the world. That's right, Billy Boy from Britain he done good. He done good for himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and welcome to the show. That's right, it's Busted Wide Open. Now no longer just a Twitch show. Now we're an everywhere show. You can see us all over the place. It's fantastic. But we have so much to talk about today that you can see all over the place. We've got to talk about Raw, the go-home show to WrestleMania.
Was it, though?
It was the go-home Raw to WrestleMania. We got Smackdown at the end of the week to hopefully pick up the pieces. We have to talk about Monday Night Raw and all that kind of happened last night. It was 3 hours of show. Something had to have gone down, right, Nick? We'll talk about that. Yeah, we got to make our picks for NXT's new pay-per-view. It's upcoming pay-per-view this Wednesday and Thursday. Stand and Deliver, 2 nights of pay-per-view from NXT. We got to do our pick'ems for that, Nick, and lock ourselves into the beginning of our 4 Quarters of Doom Patrons Pick'ems Challenge. And we also got to talk about New Japan. As I kind of mentioned at the top of the show, some stuff went down this last weekend at Sakura Genesis. It's a busy time, Nick. At the beginning of probably our busiest week we've ever had on this show. It's absolute madness.
Yes.
Madness.
There's no better way to put it.
No better way to put it, and no better way to kick it off than with episode 316.
Oh, hell yeah.
I just whooped your ass. Is going to whip our ass this week, Nick. So let's kick things off. What? I said let's kick things off. What? I said let's kick things off with the business.
Yes, we got to do some business because we got to talk. And patrons, this is specifically for you, especially those patrons that will be participating in said event over the course of the next few days. So, as Ian said, you are going to get a beat. First and foremost, you guys, all of our lovely, phenomenal ones, viewers and listeners, are going to be getting a BWO Live episode starting tonight for the next 6 straight days.
Yes. And then 1 day off, and then another one. Seven shows in 8 days.
Yeah.
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 It's nuts. So what that means is what you need to pay attention to for those that are going to be playing in the pick'ems. We will be having, as we announced last week officially, we will be having the first ever grand BWO Patron Pick'ems Championship, encompassing both nights of NXT Stand and Deliver and both nights of WrestleMania 37. That's right. You have to pick 4 nights worth. You will be competing across 4 nights. You'll have to make 2 sets of picks. And the first one, patrons, just went up right before we turned on the show. So the brand new web form, it's no longer a picture you have to download and haphazardly write in. It is a web form, and you need to pay very careful attention to the numbers that you're entering, right? So take some time. You have until tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time to lock in your picks for NXT Stand and Deliver. So that's the first one you're going to get on probably late Friday night or Saturday. We have to see what they do on SmackDown. We're going to send out another form for you to fill out your picks for WrestleMania. And all
you got to get that like sound. You got to get that sound effect from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where you get locked in.
Yeah,
Yeah, lock us in. Lock it in.
What was that music they had in the background?
Oh, no. God, not that. It makes me sweat even thinking about it. Oh.
So, yes, all of your picks will count across both Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania. They will all cumulatively total up, including some bonus ones. We have some fun bonuses we have for WrestleMania, and there will be a tiebreaker time associated with WrestleMania as well, just in case we somehow get through 4 shows and there's still a tie. It is about to get nuts. We're going to make our picks tonight for NXT Stand and Deliver. You guys strap in. If you have any questions, leave a comment on the post in Patreon for me. Try to keep it all in one place so we can kind of keep the thread going. Please alert me as soon as possible if you find anything wrong with the form. We have stress tested the shit out of it. Hope you guys don't find anything wrong, but if you do, just alert me, let me know. We can make a quick correction. All right?
You speaking of stress tested, I am definitely testing the limits of my stress this week between the Patrons Pick'ems Challenge, trying to put on all the shows, and we're competing with Going In Raw as well. I've got to get in touch with them. They're giving their picks right now. They actually talked. They were on Fightful. They were on Sean Ross Sapp's show earlier today, giving their picks for WrestleMania.
Ooh.
So don't. Nick, don't listen to that. I don't want to bias ourselves. But yeah, so we're competing with them as well. It's going to be a very stressful week. Our Friday show at halftime of our Pick'ems Challenge is going to be I'm going to have my handkerchief out.
Oh yeah.
So But yes, Nick, I think with linktree.com/BWO for everything. Yeah, we got that.
Everybody knows where all that stuff is. Linktree.com/BWO. I wanted to get all of that out there for the patrons to give you guys.
Yes.
We're not going to repeat all of that over the course of the next 6 days, I promise. But tonight's the first night. Go check out the form. Take some time. Write down your answers. Make sure you got your numbers in the right places. Because once it's submitted, it's submitted. Be sure to read all of the text and the rules and all of that stuff as well. Don't just skip over all that stuff. Hey, J-Dogs VT kicking things off with 100 bits. Said, want to be the first gift of WrestleMania week.
Thank you very much, J-Dogs.
Kicking us off strong, J-Dogs. Thank you very much for the 100 bits, man.
Oh, yeah.
But without further ado, all of that's really exciting. But what was not that exciting was last night's Monday Night Raw.
Damn, Nick, starting with the fire. It's not that it wasn't exciting on Monday Night Raw. It's just that it was incredibly predictable. It was a very, very predictable Monday Night Raw.
I will respectfully disagree.
Okay.
I predicted that they would come out swinging and they would throw some swerves at us. And then I basically got none of that. And I was looking around going, what?
There was one thing I would count as a swerve, and it was just the making of a new match on WrestleMania that once they did it, I was kind of like, all right, yeah, I guess it makes sense to do that, but yay. Cool. Yeah, no, it was a very tough Raw to get through because, again, I kind of saw everything coming, and then it was just a matter of, enjoying the matches that we got. And there were some good matches on the show. We had Drew McIntyre out at the top to talk about sacrifice and how Lashley hadn't sacrificed the way that Drew McIntyre had sacrificed. He even brought up his mama having to have chemotherapy, and Drew couldn't go home to see her. But apparently, I guess Lashley could go home. I don't know what point he was trying to make here, other than he and Lashley were going to have a big old bash at WrestleMania. That is, if Drew made it there, as MVP reminded him when he and Lashley came out at the end of Drew's promo, because, of course, last week we found out that King Corbin from Smackdown had answered MVP's call to take out, or Lashley's call, to take out Drew McIntyre before WrestleMania, and if he did that, he would then be able to take Drew's spot. Also, Lashley had a little bit of revenge to get, the other half of his revenge, for the Hurt Business, or him betraying the Hurt Business and them having hurt feelings about it. I wonder how that went down. I wonder why they'd be mad, be kicked out of the Hurt Business. Something that nobody wanted. No fan wanted the Hurt Business broken up. Even the Hurt Business didn't want the Hurt Business broken up. Apparently, backstage, both Lashley and MVP went to plead to Vince to not break up one of the most popular stables in recent memory. And Vince went, that's cool. I'll take that under advisement, and totally still did it anyway. So this week, Lashley had to face off against Cedric Alexander. Last week, of course, he demolished Shelton Benjamin. So as you might have predicted, had you seen this booking beforehand, which we kind of did, Lashley wiped the floor with Cedric Alexander. It was basically the entire match. I could almost hear ringing through my ears, Vince backstage saying, "You got to make Lashley look strong, kid. Go out there and make Lashley look strong." Cedric Alexander maybe got like a couple of spots in there in the middle of the match.
He also might weigh 175 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, I mean, looking, next to Lashley, it's kind of like sending Ricochet in there against Brock Lesnar. We know how that went down. So it was basically Cedric got a couple of spots in. He and Shelton jumped Lashley before the match just so that, it made a little bit more sense that he got a little offense in. But Lashley came out looking really strong. It was so bad that when Shelton and Cedric were attacking Bobby before the match, MVP was on commentary and Joe was like, "Hey man, shouldn't you go in there and help your boy?" And MVP's like, "Nah, he's got it. Just watch." And sure enough, Lashley overpowers them seconds later. It's just like, oh my God. All right, so we're trying to make Lashley look as strong as possible. That was not the case with Drew. He actually had a bit of trouble with Baron Corbin. And they actually had, I would actually say, Nick, a surprisingly good match. It was actually, Baron Corbin is a guy who I think a lot of people are down on, but he's, as far as working a WWE style, he's really good at working a WWE style.
Agreed.
And you put him in there with someone like Drew, who's willing to go out there and give 110% in every match, and he's gonna look good.
Not only that, but he's physically capable of manhandling Baron Corbin's 280-pound frame.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
They're capable of manhandling each other. And so we ended up getting a pretty good match in the main event of the show. MVP once again on commentary. And this time, when Baron Corbin just couldn't seem to put Drew away, MVP stands up and reminds him, "You're not here to beat him. You're here to take him out of WrestleMania," and tries to throw Baron Corbin his pimp cane. Corbin misses it, catches it, but turns around while he's trying to get it, and he turns back around into a Claymore. 1, 2, 3. Baron Corbin goes down. Drew McIntyre goes on to WrestleMania to face Bobby Lashley. Shocking turn of events there. So again, both these matches, going into it, you knew Drew wasn't going to lose to Baron Corbin. You knew Bobby Lashley wasn't going to lose to Cedric Alexander. The only thing I came out of this with, Nick, is just wondering about Shelton and Cedric after WrestleMania. They did have a spot, a segment in the show where they roughed up MVP. They kind of manhandled him backstage and were like, "You're going to pay for this," kind of thing. And
I'll get you.
"I'll get you, MVP, if it's the last thing I do." So that made me wonder if we will be seeing more of them as a tag team after WrestleMania, if they might have some more story with the Hurt Business after WrestleMania. It gave me a little bit of hope for them going forward, especially before that match where I knew they were just going to get demolished and were basically going to be utility players to put over Bobby Lashley. So did you feel any hope after that backstage segment, or was it dashed by them getting destroyed by the Almighty One?
Let's see. I don't know if I would wish being included as part of the WWE tag division on my worst enemy right now. So I don't know if it's a good thing for them to want to want them to be included in the tag team division right now. It's a disaster. And look at what's happening to those events, right?
Yeah. SmackDown, if you're in a tag team, you can't even be on WrestleMania. You're basically on the pre-show, which is SmackDown's going to be the pre-show for WrestleMania this year. The Andre the Giant Battle Royale, the armbar, will be on SmackDown. The tag team Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, it's on SmackDown. Neither of those are at WrestleMania this year. And if you're on Raw, you're going to be basically the New Day, the champs, are essentially, from what I can tell, there to put over Omos.
Yeah.
And make him the next big thing. So, yeah, Nick, I'm with you. But at the same time, on Monday Night Raw, at least, it's wide open. So do you think that wouldn't that be a good idea to have, at least they get a presence if they were a tag team afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, at least they wouldn't be back in catering, maybe. That's a good thing. They've had a hell of a year with running alongside MVP in this new faction that's now. Yep. It's nice knowing you. Hurt Business. Nice knowing
Another
you.
one bites the dust.
Let me do some call-outs real quick. Jay Wolf threw in 100 bits, said, "Hope everyone is doing well." I am, Jay. Thank you very much. Appreciate the bits. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, "Corbin is like Natalya and Dolph. Couldn't generate any actual interest in them as a performer, but they're good hands that can make others look good. Sorry to them, but it's true." And yeah, Corbin kind of looked dumb at the end with the cane spot.
Yes, he did.
I agree with that, and I think that was unnecessary for MVP to get up there and do the Kane thing. I liked the match. I liked that Baron pulled out all of his normal tricks, sliding out of the ring, around the post, back in.
Yeah, but it stopped working, and that was the story of the match. Was
got
that
a,
he
got
tried
a
all his
beautiful
tricks.
deep six off on Drew.
Gorgeous deep six, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's again, all his tricks weren't working, and that's when MVP stepped in.
Yeah.
And the logic was sound. You're not here to beat him. You're here to beat him up and get him
You're
out
here
of
to take him out.
WrestleMania. Right. It's just then Corbin screwed up the handoff. He fumbled the ball at the one. So I actually I dug that aspect of it. Worked for me. I was like, that makes sense. And all right, he fumbled it and made him look a little bit dumb, but it's King Corbin. He's not supposed to be out there.
He plays that part well.
He's not supposed to be the genius of the WWE. No. He's supposed to be a big a-hole who can get in there and kick people's butts. Big bully. That's his role.
It's not exactly the way I wanted to kind of have to go to WrestleMania, to go to this match at WrestleMania.
Speculation: does King Corbin or Hurt Business, the exiled members of Hurt Business, Shelton and Cedric, do any of the three of them play any part in the match itself, the Drew versus Lashley match at WrestleMania?
No, I don't think so. I'm comfortable doing that as a +1 if you want to on our pick'ems.
Okay, I might take you up on that because I think
it'll be clean. They don't want to tarnish Drew in any way. Yeah. This is the coronation they wanted for him last year. They're getting a redo on it. They don't want to nothing tarnishing that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kyle, for the bits. Jay Wolf threw in another 100 bits. Thank you, sir. Sadly, Cedric and Shelton will be going the way of Tucky after WrestleMania.
Tucky. Oh, wherefore art thou, Tucky? He's not even on main event, is he? I mean, I haven't even seen him. He's not even in the Goon Squad that are hanging out in the locker room getting beaten
There was
up
a
by
point where
Drew
he was
and yelled
chasing
at
around for the 24/7 title.
Yeah,
he was chasing R-Truth.
Oh God, not a fast runner though, our Tucky. So
thank you, Jay, for the bits. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, lumbering along there after R-Truth, but he hasn't been the same ever since he was caught with his lines in his hand.
Oh boy.
Oh Tucky. Oh Tucky. So yeah, man. The one other thing I got to point out here, Nick, before we move on, is something else that, and again, this is one of their big programs, so they tend to spend a lot more time giving love to this and making this a big deal, and everything else is a side note of and that's just WWE's way. That's Vince's way. Another detail that I liked about both Lashley and Drew is that Drew put over how dangerous the Hurt Lock was, because they mentioned how he passed out in it last week, and he goes, "Yeah, it's no joke." I like the fact that Lashley was interviewed backstage while he was watching the Corbin and Drew match, and he said, "Drew's a dangerous guy. I'd rather have him taken out." They put each other over. That's good booking. That's good writing. You want to make the other guy, you want to have both guys say how dangerous the other guy is. It makes them a bigger deal when they beat the other person. It makes the match feel like a bigger deal because they're admitting how important the other person is, as opposed to it just being like, "I don't respect that guy. I hate that guy. He sucks." Having them be like, "No, I'm genuinely intimidated by that guy. I've got to work hard to beat him." That makes it much more exciting.
And if you look at the poster, the match card for their match with the pirate ship and the island in the middle and all that craziness that's going on, it looks like two titans. It looks like that's what I want to see as my main event of WrestleMania. Two giant kaiju that are just going to destroy Tampa in their match over a pretty belt.
Yeah.
I love it. That's what I want to see in wrestling.
Yeah, it's very much like that. I mean, this is a Vince wet dream match.
Yeah, it's a Nick wet dream match.
Well, I'm not gonna ask. Yeah. So anyway, before we move on, any other catching up we're gonna do? Or
Kyle threw in one more 100 bits. Thank you, sir. Said my prediction is Drew beats Lashley like Sheamus beat Bryan. The way the Yes Movement started opening the show.
Oh no, it's their main event of night one.
Yeah,
it's not going to open the show.
No.
I don't think.
It's going to be main event for the night one. Yeah. There was speculation it might be Sasha and Bianca, but nope.
Yeah, nope. I imagine Sasha and Bianca might open night one. I got to look at what exactly the match cards are per night because they've made that, and I haven't had a chance to really think which one opens the show yet.
They ran the whole thing down about 3/4 of the way through Raw last night, and I was pausing and taking notes and writing it all down. They literally spent about 5 to 6 minutes live on air listing every single match of both nights, while poor Drew was just kind of standing around, waffling in the ring.
Let's run it down. Let's actually make our predictions for what's going to be
Oh, what now? Oh God, hang on. Let me pull it
Let's
up.
look real quick. Yeah, I'm pulling up right now.
Let's see.
Night one, we've got Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. We have the well, we'll talk about this. We have the newly added tag team turmoil fatal 4-way #1 contenders match for the women's tag team championships. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That got made on this show. We've got the New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos. We've got Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. We got Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. We got Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. And we have Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. I'm pretty convinced it's going to be Sasha versus Bianca. I'm just trying to think of who else
to
is going to get a
open. You mean?
Pop. Yeah, who else is going to get a
think they'll
big
do
pop
the
to
tag team
open?
turmoil match first.
No, and the first match back is going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. They're going to open with something that's going to please the crowd, pop the crowd. It's going to be a match where like the good guys win. So if Bianca wins, it's going to.
That's a good point.
WrestleMania moment to open the show. Either it's that they could do Cesaro versus Seth, but I don't feel like that's a big enough match.
No.
And Cesaro going over there would probably pop the crowd, but they're going to have some real faith in Cesaro if that's the case, and I don't think they do. New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos, I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, as much as it would be like a big crowd pleaser to have the entrances of AJ Styles and New Day opening the show, I think that AJ Styles and Omos are winning that, and I don't know if that's going to leave the crowd happy after the first match.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, Miz, and Morrison is a possibility as well, but I think they might, as much as Bad Bunny is a big star, I think they also know it's not really a wrestling fan's big star, if that makes sense. Yeah. I don't think they're going to open with him either. I don't think he's going to pop the crowd the way that they want. So
you might be right. It might be Sasha and Bianca.
To me, it really does leave Sasha and Bianca to open. So that's my feeling. And it's a championship match, so it makes it a big match. So that's my feeling. If I had to pick right now, gun to my head, I'll take that as a +1 if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
So there you go. But it won't be Lashley and Drew. And I don't think that's going to be a squash.
No. Do we want to run down night 2 as well while we're doing it?
2 kaiju. King Kong. Godzilla is not going to squash King Kong in 16 seconds. That's not what you bought the ticket for.
Yeah, but when does Daniel Bryan come in?
As soon as he wants to, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when he inserts himself into whatever he wants.
Calderon 100-bit said, wouldn't predict tag team turmoil until Friday predictions-wise. WWE put out a graphic with a 5th team and then quickly pulled it.
Oh, did they?
Oh.
Yeah, because they well, we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Okay.
Will they or won't they of it? Because they didn't really add it in story. I think they're going to wait and add it in storyline on SmackDown. We'll talk about that when we get to it, which actually is going to be right after this segment here. We need to talk about the women's singles championship for Raw. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka at WrestleMania. But to get there, we had to find out, Nick, if they can coexist as a tag team. I've never seen this angle before. Oh my God. What originality. What a surprise. What a non-predictable. Oh wait, no, totally. They've actually just did this with the other singles women's match for WrestleMania. They've totally done this a million times, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
literally just did it 2 weeks ago.
Literally just freaking did it. So yeah, they did it again. Asuka and Rhea in a tag team match that Rhea accepted. That Rhea last week while Asuka was laid out at her feet, she said, "Oh yeah, we'll have that match next week." She's the one who wanted it, Nick. And then of course in the match, she and Asuka have a very chippy relationship where they kind of sometimes they want to tag each other in, sometimes they don't. And Shayna and Nia are basically just there to kind of be their opponents. It doesn't really matter what's going on with them. But at the end of it, looks like Asuka might be getting one up on Shayna, gets up on the top turnbuckle, and Rhea just randomly pushes her off, beats her down, laughs, tosses her back in the ring. Shayna rolls her up, takes her out, knees her to the face, takes her out, pins her 1, 2, 3. Shayna has now pinned the Raw Women's Championship. Boy, they love pinning champions on the road to WrestleMania, don't they, Nick?
Yes.
Good Lord.
They've made Shayna and Asuka both basically just look like chumps.
Yep. Yeah. Although at least Shayna did get the pin here, but not without assistance. But yeah, so I guess Rhea made some sort of point that that Asuka isn't ready for her, or Asuka isn't paying attention, or I don't know what their logic is.
Nobody's ready for anybody.
Nobody's ready for anybody. I'm certainly not ready for this. Again, something we could have totally seen a mile away. Can they coexist? No, they can't. Rhea's probably going to turn on Asuka. She did. Now Asuka's got another reason to not like Rhea. Cool. Cool.
Costanza threw in 100 bits, said they better not bury Rhea like they did Shayna.
I'm not going to lie, with how much they're having Rhea look good going into WrestleMania, I'm a little worried it might be Shayna Becky 2.0. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I mean, they did announce as well that they are going to have Rhea played to the ring by Ash Costello, the woman who actually sings her entrance song.
Huh.
She's going to be coming out and actually singing
That's cool.
Rhea's song live. That is pretty cool. So Rhea's actually going to get a pretty cool entrance. Whether or not that translates into her winning, we'll have to see.
Yeah. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said only thing that was refreshing about this is Rhea didn't care either way if she could coexist with Asuka. Basically seemed like she only agreed to it to set up Asuka, which at least it's something different in this trope. And is it bad that I still want to cheer Rhea here regardless of the turn?
Well, it might be bad in Vince's mind if they're trying to make Rhea a heel, which it looked like they were doing in this. Yeah. She got beaten down by Nia and Shayna and actually had to go to Asuka for help in this match, which was odd. She wasn't dominant. And then outside, she beat down Asuka like a heel would. There was no like tweener thing. She just beat her down without provocation. Like Asuka didn't bump into her or anything. Rhea just jumped her. So it feels to me like they're making Rhea into a full-on heel, which I don't know if she's going to get booed. I don't know if she's going to get the reaction that they want. This might be another Becky Lynch situation where they're trying to make her a heel and the fans are like, no, what are you doing? We want to cheer this woman. And WWE's going to have to back off and be like, oh yeah, we meant to do that the entire time. We were pretending she was a heel to make you guys want to cheer her so that she'd become a face. That's what we meant to do. Right, Road Dogg?
Mm. Everybody's talking about Asuka and Rhea. It's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how we have diluted and watered down the women's champions on both brands by surrounding them incessantly with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Drowning them.
Yes.
Rather than diluting them. It's being presented to me on TV as if I'm supposed to be more impressed or care more about the tag team champions in Shayna and Nia than I am about either of the champions or their contenders.
They've certainly had more TV time.
And I don't understand the logic of that. Like, separate them. Put their sure, you've got tag teams. Congratulations. Let the tag teams do their thing. Why are we still drowning the top of our women's cards with these antics? It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't understand it. It doesn't do anything to elevate anyone.
Well, and in addition, I mean, you say that there's tag teams. Of the tag teams that exist, because we did have Shayna and Nia go backstage later and get surrounded by a gaggle of women who all very cattily were like, we're coming for your tag team titles next. Oh my God. It didn't feel like, again, it's another angle where it felt like they basically threw everybody. They told everyone, okay, just go in and, announce that you're going for the tag team titles. And, without any purpose. And a lot of like the kind of the stupid, like eye rolling, oh my God, I can't believe this is what she's talking about that you get with a lot of these segments. No one felt dangerous. No one felt like they were a threat. Everyone felt like they were friends, kind of cattily playing with each other. It didn't feel like actual competition was being built here.
Otty rolling up Shayna doesn't feel competitive.
And I'm just talking about the segment where we had the other four other women's tag teams. You had Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose, Lana and Naomi, Natalya and Tamina, and the Riot Squad, all rolled up on Nia and Shayna and said, we're all going to be in a tag team turmoil match at WrestleMania, and the winner of that's going to challenge you on night 2. Lol, OMG. And in the middle of all that, you had Billie Kay pop up in the midst of the gaggle of them with her resume saying, I might be in it too. Yeah, Carmella's thinking about it. Yeah. And then everyone kind of pushed her out of the way, which was very funny because it's Billie Kay and she's always the best thing on TV. And that's actually what Kyle was referring to, was that on WWE.com, they said, oh yeah, also Carmella and Billie Kay are in this match. And then they quickly were like, oh shit, we didn't mean to, sorry. Nope, just kidding. It's just the 4 teams. which means probably they're going to make that match on Friday because that's where Carmella and Billy normally are, and they're going to actually add that once they get some story behind it, once Carmella accepts the tag team invitation on Friday. So, yeah, there's the entire women's division. It was originally going to be a battle royale, and they just tweaked it. Originally what it was going to be is a battle royale. The final 2 women were going to then form a tag team to then face Shayna and Nia on night 2 of WrestleMania. And then some genius backstage obviously said, guys, we actually kind of already have a bunch of women's tag teams, or at least tag teams that have people that have been working together for a while. Natalia and Tamina have been working together for a while. Lana and Naomi have been a tag team for a couple of months at this point, which is insane to think about. Riot Squad's a legit tag team. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose have been working together for a while. We have legit tag teams. There's no need to throw one together. And the one that we do need to throw together, we can explain in 5 minutes on Friday.
Yeah. So you think they are going to go forward with that? Do you think they're going to insert the 5th team with Carmella and Billy into the turmoil match on Saturday?
Yes, and I think they actually have a strong chance of winning it.
Oh boy.
they're beyond a dark horse in my opinion. It's at this point, given the way they've been booked, it's them or Natty and Tamina.
Yeah.
Like everyone else in the tag team division has shown that they cannot handle. Like you even had Shayna and Nia saying, either ripping off Bianca Belair, ripping off Mean Girls, and saying, you don't even go here, to some of the women that came over from SmackDown, or saying, we've already beaten you. We've already beaten you. We've already beaten you. Who have they not beaten? Carmella and Billy.
Interesting.
So, but the problem is, like Nick, as you said, the dilution of the women's tag team division, the fact that the women's tag team champions are off messing around in the singles division, it means that none of these women's tag teams are that engaging right now.
No, I was referring to the fact that the tag team champions are diluting the top of the card. I'm supposed to care that Bianca Belair, a hot NXT upstart, won the Royal Rumble and is going to go challenge the boss, the Blueprint. And I want that to be oh my God. Nope. We're going to drown them in tag team garbage. Right. With Nia, and there's going to be interferences with this guy named Reginald who was with Carmella, but now he's with Nia. And why does any of that even matter?
And it's
when it comes to the women's championship.
They had a month and a half ago was the first time, or at least a month and a half ago was the first time they had Sasha and Bianca in a match together, tagging together, right? In a tag team match. And we said at the time, this is going to end with Bianca and Sasha turning on each other and starting this feud up. Nope, they got along just fine. Not even a hint of a problem. It wasn't till weeks later that we've started to see a hint of a problem, and then they just kept going back to the well on it and never really jump-starting the feud. So now the feud feels half-formed.
Yep.
So I agree, there is a dilution there in the singles division, but it's also because they've been up in the singles division, diluting the singles division. It means there's been a non-starter in the women's tag team division. It's diluted both things. By pulling them out of the women's tag team division, it's meant that there's been no build to any of these other teams, and they've had to throw them into a thrown together match last minute to make a match happen. Instead of allowing, these 4 men's tag teams on SmackDown to have a match on WrestleMania, now we have to figure out which women's team is actually viable to have a championship match. So, I'm glad they're going to be on WrestleMania. I'm glad there's going to actually be some stakes in this match. It's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels really thrown together.
Costanza threw in 100 bits, said, Sir Ian, don't put that hate on us. That was about 8 minutes ago. I don't know what that was referring to.
There's a lot of hate today.
Thank you. You threw in another 100 bits, said, what happened to the women's revolution? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Problem with the revolution is it eventually turns 360 and you're back where you started.
Oh, boy. I threw in another 100 bits, said we need Becky back. Thank you for all the bits, Chris.
You might get it.
Man. Thank you.
You might get it. It's been 4 months since she had the kid. That's a reasonable amount of time for her to show back up at WrestleMania.
Even just to make an appearance and walk out to the top of the ramp.
Just walk out the top of the ramp and be like, all right, Rhea Ripley, I see that you just won the women's championship from Asuka, the one I gave her. Well, I want it back.
Yes. And go off air. That's brilliant. Do it.
That won't be going off air. Well, it might. Well, the Monday after WrestleMania, maybe. Maybe not at. Imagine the pop at WrestleMania if Becky came out, though.
Imagine the pop at. Well, yeah, good point.
No,
God,
the pop at WrestleMania. That's like. Oof. bunch of people caged up for a year, and then Becky Lynch comes back on that first show.
Ooh.
I wonder, can you imagine if Becky Lynch opens WrestleMania? If that's like she comes out to be on commentary.
No, it's gonna be Titus and Hulk Hogan.
Oh God, no, you're right.
Remember how Alexa and Hogan did it a couple years ago?
Yeah, I don't think but this is different. They're not gonna open. They couldn't possibly have the first thing when you come back be Hogan brothering up on stage.
I think that's exactly what you're gonna do.
Oh God, it's gonna be so painful.
Brother.
It's gonna be so painful. brother, my brother.
All right, let's roll.
Braun Strowman. You asked for it. Play the choo-choo sound. Braun, we're rolling. We're rolling on the Strowman Express here, Nick. Braun Strowman. He came out. He's got a cage match at WrestleMania with Shane McMahon. So of course he had to do a promo in a cage to remind us he's in a cage match at WrestleMania.
And
we finally got the point of this whole feud, sort of. Braun saying on air, not just on Raw talk, but on the actual show Raw, I was bullied as a kid because everyone said I wasn't smart enough and everyone said I was stupid. So at WrestleMania, for everyone who's ever been told they're stupid, I'm going to kick Shane McMahon's ass. It's a bullying angle, everybody.
Yay.
And the biggest, scariest guy in WWE is going to avenge himself against this bully, this Shane McMahon, to avenge all the blah, blah, hashtag be a star. You get the idea.
Does Vince, has Vince forgotten that he did that 2 years ago with Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax?
We do it all the time. The bullying angles are all the time.
Then
it's just this
Mickey
one. This
James
one
was in on that one, and
this one is particularly insipid and on the nose, and another one that's half formed. And then we heard before this that Strowman was going to get Elias and Riker 2-on-1 handicap match. So, Nick, what did you predict before this match happened?
he was going to destroy him.
And guess what he did?
Yeah.
He destroyed him. He pinned them both at the same time.
I thought we might at least have him in the cage.
No, they didn't even leave the cage.
We come back from commercial and the cage is gone and they're just all three standing in the ring. I was like, oh, well, shit. Okay. Never mind.
You had Shane out there saying, I have to admit, Braun, choosing a cage match was pretty smart, but I'm still going to outsmart you at WrestleMania. Okay. Yeah. Again, worst feud in wrestling right now.
Yeah, it's awful.
Sorry,
buddy.
It's better than it was. That's the least I can say about it.
Yeah.
It's better than it was. Braun's promo was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It was a pretty good promo. Very Wrestling 101 promo, but nothing wrong with that. Very passionate. He was fired up. That felt good. That's the best thing that's happened in this feud so far was this Braun Strowman promo.
Yep.
That's really all I have to say about it.
Yep.
It's a bully angle now. Whoop-de-doo. Braun Strowman cut a good promo. Destroyed Shane's goons. I feel bad for Elias. Now he's a goon. I mean, the Riker should be blessing him, everything that he's got, that he's on TV still. With the people that are in catering or not on TV, the fact that Riker's on TV at all is amazing.
Agreed. And the fact that Braun, of all people, is being put into these kinds of angles when he's probably one of the most agile big men the WWE has ever had.
But now he's an avatar for the oppressed, Nick. He's a big, agile avatar
now
for
I'm
the
just
oppressed.
getting mad.
Well, then let's move on.
Yep.
Let's move on to a $3.6 million Bugatti owned by none other than Bad Bunny. It's really his car. I don't know if you knew that. The car the Bugatti they had on there, it's really $3.6 million.
Yeah.
It really belongs to Bad Bunny.
It's got that Spotify money.
Yeah, well, and apparently, like, he was, I was reading an article where he was complaining, shout out to Fightful.com for cluing me into this. He was complaining about how tough it was to have a $3.6 million Bugatti. People recognize him all the time. All the licensing and taxes and everything has been a real pain in the butt. Before I cry too much of a river for him, I do have to say, props to him for allowing this Bugatti to be used in a segment where Miz and Morrison find the Bugatti and paint all over it. They write, hey, hey, hop, hop on it. They drew some little graffiti. They signed it, and then they ran away. That being said, it was fairly obviously washable paint because there's no way they're going to put actual acrylic paint on a $3.6 million Bugatti.
No.
But that being said, the effect was effective.
Yeah.
And when Bad Bunny came back and was distraught by it, he was then beaten down by Miz and Morrison. saved by Damian Priest, and he and Priest came to the ring later on.
I'm here.
Mr. Priest, you're here. Yes, so you came to save your friend Bad Bunny there. He then cut a promo later. Would you like to reiterate what your friend Mr. Bunny said in that promo, Mr.
Yeah,
Priest?
I think we'd like to take it up a notch, Miz.
Oh, really?
You don't just get to face Bunny. Now it's going to be a tag team match with me and John Morrison because we're not actually injured.
Well, there was some injury protocols, Mr. Priest. I mean, it was originally considered a tag match, and they had to hold off until you were cleared. Are you officially cleared now?
I am cleared.
Oh, I'm very congratulations. I'm happy to hear that. It'll be nice to see you at WrestleMania. Just one more question, Mr. Priest.
Oh. Wait, come back.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay, thank goodness. Just one more question, Mr. Priest. How much of this match do you feel like you'll be wrestling, and how much do you feel like Bad Bunny will be wrestling?
He's pretty good in the ring, but I'm a former North American champion down in NXT, and I know how to handle myself.
Do you? Do you really feel like your NXT experiences are going to mean a damn thing on the main roster?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Just that's what I thought. Thanks for your time, Mr. Priest. I appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me, guys. Bye.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Take care. Damian Priest, everybody. But yeah, so now it's officially a tag match. We kind of speculated that would be if they did get Morrison, who was suffering from knee injury from that match he had against Matt Riddle a few weeks ago.
Luckily, it was just a strain or sprain or something like that.
Yeah, well, he got cleared. He's still not 100%, but he's able to work it. It's better as a tag match. I feel like it'll cover for Bad Bunny. He was apparently is doing pretty well in his wrestling training, but and Miz can probably carry him to a pretty safe match. But at the same time, like Mr. Priest just said, he did a lot of stuff in NXT. The guy's been wrestling for over 10 years.
That's Punishment Martinez.
Right.
That dude can carry a match. I'm not worried about it at all.
Nothing here was breaking new ground. Bad Bunny actually had a pretty long promo where I felt like he lost his way at the end, but he had a couple of very good moments in it. So props to him for
I thought it was great.
Doing his best. He lost his way at the end. And then Miz and Morrison
love the bilingual back and forth. That's something like we've only seen Rey Mysterio do that kind of gymnastics.
Well, they're allowing it to happen more and more in WWE, which is something I like. They're allowing people, like Asuka's doing it. I've seen Shinsuke do it a couple of times. It's happening a lot down in NXT, where they're letting them speak in their native tongue as long as they alternate back and forth.
I love that.
A little bit of English. I do too. Across all wrestling promotions, I think that's a great way to let people whose English is not their first language, like, do promos. New Japan, they do it a lot. In AEW, Penta's now doing it, where he's got a translator, but he'll still sometimes throw in some English. So yeah, I'm completely for that. This is one of the better parts of Raw, where I really had less critiques about it. It's just that it was very straightforward wrestling 101. There was nothing terribly new or nothing breaking new ground. But again, it's all for the better. It's better as a tag match. The stuff with the Bugatti was definitely, it was effective. It worked.
Yeah.
Cool. Fine. You
don't mess with the dude's car.
It wasn't that exciting, but it wasn't straight out bad.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing I can say about it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
I dug it. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the match.
match.
That's really all I got to say about it. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said Shane is going to get thrown through the cage and win by escape because this is Shane and we must convolutedly continue his programs for no reason.
Yeah, this is going to SummerSlam. We're gonna suffer through this feud for a while. I have a feeling.
Thank you, Kyle. Will James threw in 100 bits, said I was sweating and hoping they wouldn't really paint that damn Bugatti, and they did. That's heat, baby.
They painted it. If you want to feel better, if you look at the way that paint was drying, it was definitely water-based paint. That comes off with a good car wash.
Yeah.
They're not putting acrylic or oil-based on an actual Bugatti.
The paint is probably worth as much as a $100,000 car. The paint itself.
The paint
that
job.
they're using.
Yeah.
Thank you, Will. Kyle threw in another 100 bits, said Raquel speaking Spanish as someone who grew up in the Texas Rio Grande Valley always pops me because I literally grew up around to back and forth between both those languages here in San Antonio. Yeah, man. Thank you, Kyle. Anytime they do that, I'm impressed. It's not easy. I can speak some Spanish. Like, I understand it more than I can speak it. I think
I'm the opposite. I can speak it better than I can understand it.
Oh, okay. But I think that, just listening, you could hear the passion. You could hear the passion coming out of his, right? You could hear it. You could feel it. I loved this promo from him. I thought it was fantastic.
Nick once again proving he understands it better than he speaks
Yes.
it. But yes, I agree. I had to bust your balls about that, man. The pasión.
Yeah.
Mi corazón, ¿por qué? Ay, Dios mío. Gotta get some stories on here, man.
Of what?
Gotta do that again.
Of what?
Got look the Spanish serials. Gotta do some more of that on here. Some more of our imitations of the Spanish serials.
Oh. The telenovelas. Yeah.
Yeah, the novelas.
Yeah. Monstro.
Y con mi hermano. Ah, mi corazón.
Cállate.
They're
They're so dramatic.
The zoom in.
Yeah, there's the whip
the
zooms.
The racket. Yeah. No. ¿Por qué, Juan? Oh man.
Mi esposa.
Where? Oh, los dos en la cama.
Oh God.
Where's Esme in the chat?
I don't know.
Totally
Abe's in here, I believe. As he can translate for us.
No. He's been mad at us ever since we said we like pineapple or that we would accept pineapple on pizza.
Gotcha.
Even that was too much. Nick, we're getting pulled away from Raw here.
Thankfully.
largely because Raw was ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to us because you just want to hear us review Raw and talk about Raw without having to watch it yourself, this is a week where you're glad that we exist because it was a tough watch this week, and it was a go home to WrestleMania, Nick.
There's no excuse.
If we're starting to believe that leading up to WrestleMania, the worse the lead up to WrestleMania, the better the WrestleMania. This might be one of the best WrestleManias of all time. And because the lead up for everything has really stunk the last few weeks. Like the builds have been really awful, nearly across the board. Like even Drew and Lashley, it's fine. It's a fine build. It's not great. For a top of the card build, it's kind of average.
But it's mired in the teardown of one of the most popular factions. They've constantly been doing this stuff between the two of them. It's all hurt locks all the time. Nobody can withstand the hurt lock, and they've done a great job of putting that over. And it's going to make a difference when we get to the psychology of the match that goes on Monday, Saturday. What day is it? I don't know.
It feels like too many cooks have stirred the cake batter a few too many times, and now I'm worried it's just not going to rise right because they just worked on it too much.
Yeah.
And on the other side of things, you've got the New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos, which has just been a very odd build, including having Pictionary and Kofi getting tossed to the dark dimension by Omos a couple of times. We had AJ Styles versus Xavier Woods again, because we had this match last week, but since it ended in a DQ, I guess they thought, hey, let's make it easy on ourselves and we'll just have a rematch. And this time there was a straight up finish. It was AJ Styles getting distracted by Kofi Kingston throwing a microphone at Omos and Omos chasing him through the ring. AJ Styles, former multiple-time WWE heavyweight champion, former Universal champion? No, it's WWE champion. A living legend, gets rolled up by Xavier Woods on a distraction. And the only thing I can think here, Nick, is he's doing the favors for New Day en route to WrestleMania because he and Omos are going over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing I can think.
I'm convinced of it now.
If they don't strap Omos and AJ Styles after the way that they have handled AJ Styles the last few weeks, he's got to look at his career. He really does.
But none of this has been for AJ. It's for Omos.
It is. I think it's a little way for AJ as well because, if he does get the tag team titles, then I believe that makes him a Grand Slam. So that's a big deal for him to get the tag team championships. It's one more accolade for him in WWE.
Yeah.
So it would be a pretty big deal. It'd be for AJ too. It's to get Omos over. You're right. Let's call a spade a spade. We're trying to make Omos a big deal. And the way that they're building him up, it wouldn't surprise me if he keeps on the up and up, if he's challenging for some sort of major championship within 6 to 9 months. So we shall see. But
let me catch up real quick. Costanza throwing 100 bits says, is this the worst go-home show for Mania ever? Somebody else asked that on Friday. I can't remember. It's hard to pick them all apart. The worst go-home show for Mania?
Off the top of my head, again, recency bias is going to be tough because, this was just last night.
I'm having a hard time thinking of one that would be worse.
I'm still burned. I want to say there's been worse ones. I want to say there's been ones where I've been actively turned off and wondered if WrestleMania is going to suck. This one, I don't think WrestleMania is going to suck. This was a boring show, if that makes sense.
It's tough to look at last year's as well because it wasn't fair.
That's not comparable either. Again, the most damning thing I can say about this Raw wasn't that it was bad per se. It was just very by the numbers. It was very average and very I never want to use the word boring because boring is you have to be an active participant in something being boring. But this Raw was definitely predictable. And that made it a non-exciting ride.
Yeah.
So because again, like Baron Corbin versus Drew was a good match. I liked a lot of the character details that both Rhea and Asuka had in their interactions in that tag match. I thought they did a lot of great character work defining their relationship. There's a lot of stuff on the show I could point at and say this was good stuff. Cedric and Shelton being angry at MVP was really intriguing. This next match we're going to talk about, Riddle versus Ali, was a really, really good match. It just had no stakes. And it was a predictable. There's no way Mustafa Ali is beating Riddle before WrestleMania.
No.
It's a predictable outcome.
Yeah.
And that's the damning part about it.
Yep.
So that's more. I'm not going to say it's the worst one going into WrestleMania. I don't feel like it could be because it wasn't actively bad.
Yep.
It just was not.
And it's what I said at the top of the show. The reason I predicted that they would have read the room a little bit, saw that the build had been a bit lackluster, and come out swinging last night to go home to Mania. That's the fact that it was so meat and potatoes is really what's throwing me for a loop here.
But Nick, isn't it hard to read a room when you control the crowd?
That's a good point.
I'm just going to leave it on that.
J-Dogs threw in 100 bits, said, this is exactly why I subscribe to BWO. I can't watch WWE lately. J-Dogs, we are here for you. That's what we do. We got you.
We got you, boo.
Thank you very much. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, Gary Hart is in the Hall of Fame this year. What, did that just get announced?
The Hall of Fame is going on, I believe, right now.
Tonight, yeah.
I believe it's already started.
Yeah, he's a 80s guy, if I remember right. He passed away recently, or like 10 years ago.
I have a hard time distinguishing between recently and 10 years ago. I don't know if you know this, Nick.
Yeah, it was 2011 a couple years ago, right? That's my brain's one of those weird brains that just thinks like it was 2014 last year.
It was 1990, 10 years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for letting us know, Kyle.
But no,
Will James threw in 100
awesome.
bits.
Great manager. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for sure if he's going in.
Will James said I once had a patron question saying that I thought AJ would get a tag title reign, and we speculated who. Needless to say, none of us picked Omos.
No.
Didn't
see that coming.
Nope. Thank you, Will. Jay threw in 100 bits, said the build must be pretty bad. Apparently the 25,000 seats have yet to sell out. The Super Bowl sold all 25,000 in minutes and before the vaccine had hit.
Wrestling Dontaku sold out in 24 hours.
Damn.
Yeah.
They're still charging too much money, you know? Thank you very much, Jay. And Will James, we got a hype train going. Oh, snap. Y'all guys done did it now. Will James threw in 1,000 bits. Said, to me, we're looking at some great Mania matches this year. It's just most of the feuds are really missing some heat. Also, hype.
Yes.
Listen, I am not excited for WrestleMania. I every year, and especially after what we went through last year, we didn't even know if we were going to have wrestling still. We didn't even know if we were going to have a WrestleMania. And the WrestleMania that we got, even though it was that weird silence, was still fantastic.
Yeah. And this is the thing is that I completely agree with what he said.
Yeah.
The builds have been bad. There's a lot of these matches that have zero heat or very little heat, not WrestleMania quality heat. But I'll be damned if they haven't pulled it out a few times where I said these matches have no heat, and we get to WrestleMania and they make a great video package, and I get hyped before the match, and then we have the match, and the match is great.
Yep. The army of editors are going to be busy for the next 5 days making crazy good video packages.
WWE is at its best when its back is against the wall, even if it's a situation where they put their own backs against the wall. And the problem with this Monday Night Raw was their back isn't against the wall.
Yeah.
They're controlling the horizontal, they're controlling the vertical, and unfortunately that makes them do the least amount necessary.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We can just put this noise in here and it'll be fine.
They're coasting.
Yeah.
They're coasting. When it's an emergency, when it's scary, when they're worried about something, that's when they start scrambling to do something new, interesting, build something up, make things crazy, and that's when they're at their best. When wrestlers are trapped in Saudi Arabia, they go and have the greatest SmackDown they've done in years. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I feel we might see is we get closer to WrestleMania, they're not selling the tickets, they start trying to goose stuff, they realize they've really got to nail these matches, and all of a sudden, on the day, the actual show is going to be great.
Yep.
That's the hope. That's my optimistic view of it.
And that's Raw. That's where we are at for Raw.
Yeah.
For WrestleMania. SmackDown will be on Friday. We'll be covering that, of course. But before we get to SmackDown and before we get to WrestleMania,
oh boy,
we've got to do our pick'ems here on the show for NXT Stand and Deliver.
Stand and deliver your money, your life. That song has been in my head ever since they announced this damn pay-per-view. As a big fan of Adam and the Ants, it's been relentless. And it's not even the song for the show. It's not the theme song for the show. They're gonna have Nita Strauss, I guess, play the show.
She's gonna Hendrix the anthem, I think, and then we're gonna have BB Rexa doing America the. No, that's WrestleMania.
That's on WrestleMania. BB Rex is doing it, and
doing
then
America the Beautiful, yeah.
And then night 2, Stand and Deliver. Poppy's gonna be there somewhere.
Nice. Oh, I wonder where.
Well, no, because Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez is on night 1.
Oh, that's right.
So
interesting.
That's interesting.
Oh,
maybe
boy.
she's gonna be on both nights.
I got a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
I'm not ready to make these picks yet.
No,
we're going from what has been terrible builds to WrestleMania to what I believe have been really strong builds,
dude,
for a lot of these matches.
Did you see the Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly thing? The
only about 5 times. Yes.
Oh my God. No, the full length one that they did.
I saw the one that was on TV.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Not the one that was there's a full length, like half an hour long one that they've made of it.
I got to go see that.
It's bananas.
Okay.
Yeah. The only way that could have been better is if Daniel Bryan had been in it. But all right. So night 1, we got to start off. We're going to have the Gauntlet Eliminator match for the #1 contendership, the North American Championships, going down. In order of entrance, we've got Leon Ruff versus Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Bronson Reed versus Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis versus L.A. Knight. L.A. Knight. That is the order of appearance. Nick, who do you have winning this and going on to face Johnny Gargano?
It's a coin flip between 2 guys for me. I want in my heart to pick Cameron Grimes, but I think it's going to be Bronson Reed. Mostly because he'll face Dynamics. I think Bronson Reed's going to go take that title off Johnny Gargano.
I think that's what they should do. I don't know if they're ready to do that. And I wonder if they're just going to pay off the Dexter Lumis feud, which is why I wonder if it's going to be Dexter Lumis. Because he almost won the Battle Royale to get into this thing.
Right.
And was screwed at the end by LA Knight. But it makes me wonder if that diverts him and he then starts spending his energy on LA Knight and they go have a feud. And like you said, Leon Ruff and Swerve Scott cancel each other out. As I agree with you, I don't think Cameron Grimes is winning this thing. I think he's got unfinished business with Roderick Strong, who might show up and take him out.
Yeah.
Or there's a swerve, and Strong takes out Grimes before this match, and Strong gets entered into Cameron Grimes' slot, and he goes on to win this thing, and faces Johnny Gargano on night 2.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
I wouldn't be mad at that either.
Are you willing to bet your pick on it?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I too am going to go for Bronson Reed,
Nice.
but at the same time, I can see so many things that they're doing with this. These are definitely going to be my lowest confidence points. This and the Johnny Gargano match, the Johnny Gargamel match, the Johnny Caramel match, just because it's like the Royal Rumble. You can't. There's just so many variables.
Yeah.
There's so many other things they could do. I would love it, if they did swerve us and have Roderick Strong go on and beat Johnny Gargano. That would be
amazing.
Absolutely sick. Also sick, Pete Dunne versus Kushida to figure out who is the greatest technical wrestler in the world. Jeez, Nick, there's been almost no build for this one except for these two guys just hating each other and saying, I'm a better technical wrestler.
They got mad during like a promo backstage, and all of a
that's
sudden
it.
we have a match.
And you know what? They do that sometimes these days with takeovers where they make a match in 2 weeks, and then the match is sick.
Yeah.
I don't care. This match is going to be bananas.
It
I
is.
cannot freaking wait for this match, but I have no idea who's winning it. Who are you going to pick here, Nick?
I'm going to pick Kushida.
Wow. All right. I don't know, man. I want Kushida to win.
Yeah, that's a heart pick, not a head pick.
Kushida's my dude.
Yeah.
But I feel like they are going to invest more in Pete Dunne. I feel like Pete Dunne's coming off a loss to Finn Balor. I feel like if he loses to Finn and then loses to Kushida, it's really going to damage him as a performer and as a brand, whereas Kushida, I don't feel like they've really gotten behind him all the way yet, nor do I feel that they're ready to.
No.
He's been kind of stop-started. So I feel like Pete Dunne's pulling this one out.
I think you're right.
But it's 51%.
Yeah.
This is also not going to be a high confidence
This
one.
is a coin flip for me. So you're
what
putting Dunne down officially?
I'm putting down Dunne. Lock me in on Dunne, Nick.
Done.
Lock me in on Dunne.
Done.
MSK versus Grizzled Young Vets versus Legado de Fantasma for the NXT Tag Team Championships. God damn it.
This match is going to steal the show.
Can I do a confidence point of 2 for everything? God damn it. Who do you,
and this is for the title. This is for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championships.
Vacant.
I am going. I cannot go any. I love me some MSK. I think they did a fantastic job running the gauntlet on the tournament. But I gotta pick my boys, the Grizzled Young Veterans, based on their investment in coming over. We several of us have picked them to win that tournament.
Yeah.
And MSK pulling it out was kind of a thing. I think this is their get back.
Right, exactly. This is the payback to Grizzled Young Vets for letting MSK win. MSK is coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Let them win the championship or the tournament. It's a big deal for them. Puts them on the map. Allows them to come
they'll be in a feud for months.
Exactly.
Over these championships.
MSK can lose this, they'll be fine. Legado can lose this, they'll be fine. If the Vets lose this again after losing the finals of the tournament, that's really going to damage them.
Yep.
I feel like they have to win this.
Absolutely.
I'm not convinced they're going to let them win it, but they should.
I absolutely think they have to.
Tommaso Ciampa versus Walter for the NXT UK Championship. Does Old Man Ciampa take the title off of Walter, or does Walter retain?
His title reign is up to 730 days now, or something like that. I believe
it's
it's
just
absurd.
Past 2 years.
I was a hard no way in hell he's taking it off until I saw last week's NXT and saw his promo, and then I started thinking to myself, how can they? What are they going to do with the NXT UK title if it's on Ciampa?
Yeah,
are they
is Ciampa going to suddenly move to
the UK?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, they're not taking it off.
No, they're not. No, it's not happening.
Walter.
Walter's going to lose to someone else who's in NXT UK.
Yeah.
Or someone who's going, or Finn Balor, someone who's willing to go to the UK.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm glad to hear you're coming around on my Finn Balor idea.
Yeah.
By the way, and last week you were poo-pooing me. Now you're coming around on. I like it. Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. Is this the time that Io loses it to Raquel?
I called this shot back at War Games in November, and I'm riding this train off the cliff. Raquel Gonzalez is the one to dethrone Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship. Zero doubt.
The only reason I am going to pick Raquel is because if Io doesn't lose it to her, who the hell does she lose it to? Who the hell is left? Who's not?
There's nothing saying she has to lose it to somebody.
They could Asuka her and
Asuka
have her
her.
just relinquish it.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to get called out big time if they just cannot find a way to, like, when you do it. Take it off someone like they did Shayna to Rhea. Like, it's a big deal. And I think that they've built this up enough where it truly does feel like they could go either way.
Yeah.
Right? You can't kill Io Shirai. Raquel tried, and Io came back and stood tall. But it's also Raquel freaking Gonzalez. And they've done a great job actually recently on social media of showing her journey, her physical journey, from how she looked and what her body condition was when she came into NXT and what it is now. And she has done a phenomenal job of putting herself, making herself into a championship-looking competitor. So I think they'd be insane if they didn't strap her right here. This is the best opportunity to do it. I think Io could lose to her, and it would not tarnish Io's image at all.
Io's going to give her a hell of a match.
Yep. I think
she's going to look like $1
match.
million when she stands tall with that title raised at the end.
Yeah.
So that's night one, and that's how we're likely going to go off the air on night one. I imagine that's the main event.
Yep, I imagine that is as well. I believe it's actually been called the main event for that already. Night two, though, no idea what's opening this one, but we're going to go with Santos Escobar versus Jordan Devlin for the Cruiserweight Unification match. This is a tough one for me because I could see this going either way as well, just depending on what they feel is the next step for the Cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
And I really am having a hard time figuring out what that's going to be. If they're going to elevate Santos Escobar if he loses, or if he wins and he becomes more of the face of the division than he already is. Nick, what do you think? Is there more for him to do in the Cruiserweight division, or is there more for Santos to do outside of the division?
I mean, unless they have plans to bring Santos up to Maine Monday night after WrestleMania.
Yeah, they have a spot in catering that Andrade just left, so he could fit in right there.
Which I don't wish that upon anyone at this point. I think he retains. I think Santos Escobar comes out of the cruiserweight the undisputed cruiserweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
Because Legato's not going to win the tags, and they still need some way to keep all those dudes relevant. And I think this they're going to keep it on Santos. Jordan will be fine. He can go back to NXT UK and do what they do over there.
I wonder. I've started to get in my head about this, and I feel like Escobar needs to be doing more. He's been the Cruiserweight champion. It's the road has
you
kind
mean
of
in
ended.
NXT? He needs to be.
Yeah.
I do feel like eventually he's going to hold the NXT Men's Championship.
Or the North American. I feel like there's more for him to do. And I feel like this is a great opportunity. I feel like they had a plan for Jordan Devlin, and they never got to execute that plan. Much like with Karrion Kross. Finn Balor was the interim champion because Karrion Kross injured himself, and they were able to find things to do with Finn Balor, but it's time to give that back. I feel like that's where we're going with Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin. Santos had the title, had a great run with it, looked good doing it, proved he was championship material, and now they're going to get him back on track for what they have for him and back on track with what the idea that they had for Jordan Devlin and why they put it on him in the first place.
That's a good point.
Which,
You're making
as
me
you
doubt
recall,
my pick.
As you recall, was a shock. It was a shock that Devlin won it in the first place.
Agreed.
So they obviously had something going on there.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they pick back up on that, or if Devlin's kind of glancing blow from the hashtag speaking out movement will actually affect him here. So one wonders.
So which are you picking?
I'm picking Jordan Devlin.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're at odds on that one. Okay.
We are indeed. I wonder if we're going to be at odds on the next one. Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, the way for the North NXT Women's Tag Championships. What do you think here? Do you think Shotzi and Ember give it up so quickly, or do you think they retain a game?
I mean, Dakota and Raquel did on night one.
That is true. They're popping these things around.
No, I think Shotzi and Ember retain.
Really?
Yep. And I'll run down even my own counter to that is I think Johnny's going to lose the North American Championship, and it would be a way to still have gold in the way and keep them going to put the women's tags on the way. But I just recall don't see it yet.
There was a prophecy made that both Johnny and Candice would be champions. There was that prophecy. If Johnny retains and Candice wins, that prophecy can come true.
That's good storytelling.
And I don't know if there's another way that can happen. That being said, they haven't brought up that prophecy anytime recently that I can recall, unless they've been doing it on social media in the last day or so that I haven't seen. So, yeah, it's WrestleMania time, Nick, is when I always go to shambles in my pick'ems. You know this.
It's my time to shine.
It's your time.
My time is now.
Nick booking insanity starts to work for you.
Yeah. Because they listen, and by the time they get to Mania, they've heard my year's booking, so they know what to do.
There's another 2 for me on the confidence points where I'm just like, they could easily go either way here, and it would work.
To be honest, I honestly have no idea. I'm picking what I feel like is the right one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a coin flip.
Absolute coin flip. I
feel like Indy isn't ready yet. I feel like Shotzi and Ember are primed and ready, and they've got them already, and there's no reason to take them off of them.
There is. If Raquel Gonzalez wins the NXT Women's Champion, she's going to need singles competitors that are faces to go against.
That's true.
And that'll clear up 2 of them. Do you see, Nick, why I'm so torn on so many of these? There are so many possibilities of stories they can do coming out of this. This is the season finale. And
since
depending on where their heads
I'm going to give you some juju. Since it is episode 316, I'm going to break out the coin.
Okay.
All right. Do you want me to flip Stone Cold for you?
Yes.
All right. If you get Stone Cold, it's Ember and Shotzi. If you get the back, it's the way.
It's the way.
You ready?
All right.
Here we go.
Okay. What? Completely lost it.
It's Stone Cold.
It's Ember and Shotzi.
It's Ember and Shotzi.
All right. I'll go with it. And if Stone Cold is wrong.
Because Stone Cold said so.
What?
That's the whole reason I did that whole bit. Was hope to land that line. Sorry.
What?
Ember Shotzi. For you?
Yeah. Okay. Johnny Gargano versus we both said Bronson Reed.
Yeah, so it's basically we're picking. So guys, for just a heads up for the patron pick'ems, the guys that are doing you guys are gonna have to pick who wins that gauntlet match.
Yeah.
And then that's gonna have repercussions to this as well. That makes it even more dramatic and interesting.
I'm gonna be a very sad, disturbed, little dangerous on come Friday night when this is all said and done.
I'm picking Bronson Reed here. I think Bronson Reed's taking it off of. I'm going all in.
Wow.
I'm going all in.
Going all the way down the hill, huh?
Yep. Riding that train off the cliff.
I just don't know
with
if it's
2
time
confidence
to take...
points. If even that.
This is all 2 confidence points. Oh man. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if it's ready to come off of Johnny yet. I don't know if they're going to have that many titles change hands.
How's he going to beat Bronson Reed?
I'm saying Gargano retains. No matter
How's
who
he gonna
comes
beat
after
Bronson
him.
Reed? Do you think Austin Theory gets involved?
Yeah, something. Some sort of skullduggery. It makes me like me picking Gargano to win makes me actually want to pick the way to win too.
Same. But I'm not picking Johnny to win.
We need to move on before I start.
Yeah.
My head explodes and my brain start leaking out of my ear holes. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh.
You guys don't understand the pain and the anguish that I'm going through having to get these choices done live and know that I'm locked in on this. And this is the beginning. This could ruin my entire weekend because I picked goddamn Johnny Gargano to win his match.
This is important. This is for the match against Steven Larson as well.
No.
Oh, no, that's just WrestleMania. No. Okay.
Dude. Don't do that. I just prolapsed. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in an unsanctioned match. Who do you have here?
Kyle O'Reilly's redemption. Yeah.
I absolutely. This is the one that this is one of the 2 I'm totally confident on.
Yeah. This will be one of my highest confidence picks.
Yes. And I'm also totally confident about the next one. Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross.
I'm not.
Kross wins this. Wins this. I'm 100%
He has to.
He has to. It's Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
100%.
And then Finn can go fight Walter in NXT
or
UK.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that after all the build they've done for Kross, they're going to feed him to Finn and have Finn win. Unless they're going to have him, beat Finn later on down the road. That's just not how NXT booking has worked in the past. I feel like Finn puts up a really good fight, but Karrion Kross just outdoes him.
Yeah.
So,
let's see. Oh, man. Good Brad Shepard gifted 2 Tier 1 subs to Mongo Akuma and Ross7201. Thank you, Brad Shepard. I think he took off already. I hope he's still here. Thank you very much, Brad.
Thank you very much.
But thank you for the gifted subs. And Mongo and Ross, make sure you thank Brad Sheppy for your gifted subs. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream. Oh, he is still here. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Kyle Cotton cheered 100 bits, said Sean really liked Devlin, and in the booking, I guess Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels really likes Devlin, and in the booking, Devlin is the HBK in this story, and they are paralleling to HBK and Scott Hall.
Yeah, with the ladder match. Which, by the way, Devlin and Santos Escobar in a ladder match.
Yeah.
Boop. There go the nipples.
Yep.
Put it in my eye hole.
Turkey poppers engaged. Thank you very much,
Tune in
Kyle.
Tokyo.
Oh,
my goodness.
The drama is not over, though, folks. Do not go anywhere, because we have to go over and talk about what the hell went down in Sakura Genesis in New Japan.
Yeah, so Nick, this is one thing we gotta talk about here before we talk about Sakura Genesis, and that is that Gato has absolutely lost his freaking mind. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. A lot of people have been down on New Japan lately, saying that the booking has been insane, and not necessarily in a good way. It's been kind of all over the place, where you're just wondering what he's doing some of the time. And Sakura Genesis was another example of that. At least the main event was. Because we just at Wrestle Kingdom anointed seemingly the new major figure in New Japan, a man who said if he won these championships, if he won the unified heavyweight and intercontinental championships from Tetsuya Naito over a 2-night stretch where he then had to defend them immediately the next night against Jay White, surviving this gauntlet, he said if he did that, he would become God. So he anointed himself as God. He then presided over the unification of these titles into a new heavyweight championship, which has been controversial in and of itself because the belt design was fine for some people and very much not for other people. He defeated Sonata in his first defense of that belt. And then Mr. Ibushi went on to face Will Ospreay at Sakura Genesis, which is typically not one of the main pay-per-views.
No.
Not one of the main special shows.
Not one of the ones people are lined up to watch.
No.
Yeah.
Show starts, and we've got a couple of, the usual match. We have Taichi and Zack Sabre and Dookie taking on Guerrillas of Destiny. They end up beating Guerrillas of Destiny with Jado. So we know that there's going to be another tag match between Tekkers and GOD, rematch of Wrestle Kingdom. Okay. There's a big cluster F tag match. Kazuchika Okada, Toru Yano, Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshihashi having kind of a comedy match against Evil, Kenta, Yujiro Takahashi, Taiji Ishimori, and Dick Togo. Dick Togo eating the pin from Toru Yano, which should tell you everything you need to know about that match. But then we had a special surprise. We had the Empire, Will Ospreay's new faction, relatively new faction, with Jeff Cobb and the Great Okan facing off against Sonata, Shingo Takagi, and Naito, Los Ingobernables. But they were going to have a new member to the Empire, surprise new member. And it turned out to be none other than the former Toa Henare, now known as the Ultimate Weapon Aaron Henare, who came out in new gear, looking pretty sick, I have to say. And he helped them get the win. He pinned Sonata with a Death Valley driver, and then they all beat the crap out of Naito, destroyed his knee. So Empire gets a new stablemate in Henare. We then had a couple of other matches to set up other things. Tanahashi and Kojima beat Jay White and Bad Luck Fale. Fale ate the pin, but then Tanahashi ended up putting Jay White in a cloverleaf and Jay tapping furiously out. And Tanahashi actually said, I'll give you the match for my never openweight championship because you tapped out Jay White. So now you get that match. So setting up that match for Tanahashi and Jay White.
Okay.
Which, cool. You had Sho and Yo actually beat El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru to win the junior tag championships. Roppongi 3K on a roll.
Damn.
And they've got another big match coming up. I'll talk about that in a second. But the big deal on this show was Ospreay versus Kota Ibushi in the main event. And as I said coming into this, it seemed to be fait accompli. Will Ospreay and Empire haven't really won a whole lot. They all lost their matches at Wrestle Kingdom. They haven't really won a whole lot of matches since then. There was that horrible angle with Will Ospreay giving an Oz cutter to his girlfriend, Bea Priestley, on the last show as a way to show Ibushi he just did not give a crap about anything but winning the championship, which was a very controversial angle, to say the least.
Yeah.
So coming into this, not a whole lot of momentum behind Will Ospreay, and yet he beat Kota Ibushi, and Will Ospreay is your new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. What? This was bizarre booking, to say the least. Not that Will Ospreay isn't deserving. Not that I'm not rooting for our boy Will Ospreay here. He's a controversial figure. You know, we can discuss that another time. But Ospreay goes way back with this show. We've been fans of his for a long time. We've seen how he's bought all into New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
He had offers from WWE, turned them down. He's had offers from all over, turned them down. He moved himself to Japan. He went all in with New Japan. He gained a ton of weight, ton of muscle to try and go to the heavyweight division. And now it's paid off. They're paying him back for that by making him the champ. They wanted another foreign heel at the top of the card. But Nick, Jay White is right there. What had they gone to the well too many times with Jay White? Was that why they went to Ospreay here?
I think so.
They wanted another.
People were getting a little numb to Jay, maybe.
Yeah. Was it like they needed a replacement for a Kenny Omega? Because if so, then Ospreay slots right into that.
Yeah, that's a great replacement if that's what they're trying to do. I don't know what. That's the thing. I don't know what this means.
Yeah.
And I think you said it best at the top. Gato is out of his damn mind.
But it's also
it's kind of brilliant though.
It is, because there was previous history between Ospreay and Kota Ibushi. Ospreay has kind of had Ibushi's number for a while now. Remember, he gave him a real concussion at Wrestle Kingdom a couple years ago.
Twisted his ankle, all kinds of stuff. That was their match, wasn't it?
No, that was the same night.
Or that was in the G1.
Match. That was in the G1, and that was Ibushi versus Kenta.
That was Kenta, you're right.
Right, and it was when we had Ospreay versus Lance Archer.
That's right.
With that great opener to the show in Texas. But no, I'm thinking about Wrestle Kingdom, where he get like the first time he used the Hidden Blade, and Ibushi apparently was already concussed by that point from another spot, but they blamed it on the Hidden Blade, which that and Stormbreaker won this match for Ospreay. So Ospreay's got history with Ibushi. That's a storyline that makes sense. The storyline that's coming up makes sense. After the match, Ospreay said, I told you all, I'm just a man. You all laughed at me, but I'm just a man who just beat a god. And who's laughing now, basically. So he also called out none other than Kazuchika Okada, saying, I need to beat you, because there is a long, wonderful storyline with Ospreay kind of being like a little brother to Okada, never being able to beat him. Okada always kind of just like kid gloving him a little bit in their matches and being patronizing him in their matches, and Ospreay finally getting a win over him recently, and kind of that coming full circle. I think it was 7 or 8-0. Ospreay went against Okada before finally beating him. So now he feels like that's a monkey he's got to get off his back. He challenges Okada. Okada comes out. Before Okada can say anything, Shingo Takagi comes out, and of course, that's one of the great rivalries in New Japan over 6 years.
I got next.
Shingo says, "Why should Okada be next when I'm the guy that beat Okada in the G1 or in the New Japan Cup? The New Japan Cup just now. Why is Okada first? I should be the first." And Shingo and Ospreay have a great history, right?
Yeah.
New Japan Cup finals again. Best of Super Juniors again.
I have questions, if you'd humor me. And they're somewhat rhetorical. Before I ask them, let me read Kyle's call out here real quick.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Kyle, for the 100 bits. Said, usually when a booking decision that pissed me off, I stay invested because I have other talents I'm emotionally invested in to stick around despite it, because I don't want to punish them for what other issues were. I don't have that right now with Hiromu.
Hiromu.
hurt, and given how we got to Ospreay winning with Bia and the issues around Will, nope, I'm out on New Japan World until Will drops it or Hiromu is back. The Never titles booking is better than the world title right now.
And that's a criticism I've heard a lot.
It's a fair criticism to levy as well. You said it best. We have history with Will here on the show. Good stuff. But I'm always going to err on the side of, being on the right side of it. I'll say that.
And this is it's a strange decision given that Ibushi just won the championship and it's his second title defense.
And that's what I had. That's what I had questions about.
And that's the thing that's bizarre to me is it felt like having Naito drop the title to Evil so quickly last year and then have him just win it back, and Evil goes back to the mid card and he just can't win a frickin' match. And all his matches are just interference spectacles with Dick Togo. So it's a weird way to quote unquote elevate somebody. And I mean, pardon the pun with Will Ospreay, but in this case, like I can see why they're investing in Will Ospreay. I can see why they'd want to do it. It makes some sense to put it on him. The only thing that was bizarre to me was that Ibushi just got anointed.
Yeah.
So this seems so quick. And again, they've already got so much storyline to put Ospreay through that it makes me go, okay, well then where does Ibushi fit in for the next few months?
Well, so here come my questions. One, do they look at Ospreay, like you said, with Kenny Omega, where they've got history there, there's story that they can tell. They've given Ibushi a lot of spotlight over the last couple of years with a couple of G1, finals and wins. He's gotten his titles. He got to do the whole unification angle. He got to do the new belt, all that stuff. Has he gotten the amount of spotlight that they've wanted to give to him? And now it's time to move on to build the next Kenny Omega. The next Gaijin that's going to come in and be this kind of evil heel to send up against Okada, have a great rivalry, long-standing rivalry with Shingo Takagi, where they're putting on 5 and 6 star matches, like crazy good matches. I feel like there's so much more upside to Will Ospreay, the performer, than there is to Kota Ibushi being champion. Oh, no. I mean, I'm talking about being champion.
I think there's a lot more equity in Kota Ibushi. I think there's more stories to be told with Will Ospreay, and that might be why they went in this direction. But
equity, yes, from an investment standpoint. They've invested heavily in Kota Ibushi, but I'm talking about from a story standpoint, for the next 3 years, they can do a lot more with Will Ospreay than they probably can from a story perspective with Kota Ibushi.
Maybe. I feel like there's a lot they could do with Ibushi too. Sure. It just might not be as fresh as Ospreay. The other issue here is they've gonna have to stick to their guns on this. This can't be,
it's a commitment.
Like Evil could be, he could have been the next monster heel in New Japan, but because they booked him to be an interference clown, now he's not intimidating at all when he has a match.
No.
You've got to have Ospreay stay on top for a while, otherwise he's going to be like a Jay White, and he's going to fall down the card and not be as dangerous or exciting. So I think they're taking a big chance here.
Yeah.
And given the fact that his next two opponents are Shingo and Okada, I think it's possible they might even take the title off of Ospreay within his next two defenses. And if they do that, then this is going to be there's going to be a lot of the criticisms levied at New Japan, I think, are going to start sticking a lot more, because this is an experiment that I can see only working one way, and that's Ospreay winning, and then winning again in his next two defenses against Shingo Takagi, a man who I said this was going to be his year, and then Kazuchika Okada, with whom Ospreay has a lot of history, and this has to be his time to prove that he's finally grown up, if you will, and stepped out of Okada's shadow. So from a storytelling standpoint, he needs to win those matches. If he loses those matches and loses the title, then they're throwing another big opportunity out the window, and it's also going to devalue their title.
Yep.
So, yeah, again, crazy booking, but
one of the things that made New Japan so exciting to me was their level of investment in their champions. I mean, you looked at how dominant Guerrillas of Destiny were, how dominant Kazuchika Okada was. during his reign, like in the matches with Kenny and all of that stuff. Like go back to Finn, go back to AJ, like all that, their investment into those top stars. And I look at what we've done with Naito and Evil. Hell, Jay White even won the titles a couple years ago for a couple months, if I remember right, from Naito, and then Naito took him right back. So there's been this kind of shuffle game going on with the championship in New Japan for a couple, 3 years now that just has felt off. My hope is that they're going back to, with Will Ospreay, something that they can invest in long term and get back to some of the stuff that really made me into it back in 2017.
That's what I thought they were doing with Ibushi. Yeah. So that's why this is kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And one thing a lot of people don't talk about enough is like in that really like the glory period with Okada and Omega and Naito and like and Tanahashi kind of on his last surge of being a top guy, like the tag division was crap. It was booked in like terribly. There was a lot of bad booking going on lower on down the card. The trios championships haven't mattered at all in New Japan in years and years and years. So a lot of the kind of critiques that we levy at WWE sometimes were apparent in New Japan, but just some of the top level booking was so good sometimes, and the matches we got were so good that people were allowing that to be swept under the rug. Mm-hmm. And now it's one of those things where when situations like this happen and there's questionable booking, people start scratching their heads and going like, well, what's the end goal here? Has Gato lost a step? Does he know what he's doing? And again, I'm willing to wait and see. In Western culture, we have like the rubber match theory, right? The rule of threes and storytelling. You do things once, twice, three times, and joke telling and phrases, right? Truth, justice, and the American way. Stop, drop, and roll. Everything comes in threes, right? That's not necessarily the case in Eastern tradition in Japan. So if you think Shingo Takagi's lost two to Will Ospreay in a row, he might win the third because it's the rubber match. This is the get back rule of threes. It doesn't apply necessarily to that way of thinking. So initially when I was like, oh, Shingo could win it back because now is when Will pays him back on the third one, that doesn't necessarily philosophically apply in the same way.
Yeah.
That being said, it doesn't not. And it could that, Shingo winning it there and then going on to face Okada, and they do have history. Shingo did beat him in the cup. I don't know. If there's one thing I can say that's positive, Nick, is that Gato has made it so that New Japan is absolutely unpredictable.
Yeah.
And there is something good to say there. Like
totally.
That's a good thing.
Totally.
I don't know what to expect. And
Will Ospreay, your IWGP heavyweight champion of the world, folks.
Yeah. And you know what? I saw Ricochet congratulating him on Twitter, and I kind of went, "Aw,
yeah,
aw, a tale of two careers."
Yep.
Woof.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Good Lord, our poor dude Ricochet. Pour one out for Ricochet. Everybody.
What else we got going on in New Japan?
Well, we have a lot of stuff coming up. Wrestling Satsuma no Kuni is the next pay-per-view, the next event. That's on Wednesday, April 28th, and Thursday, April 29th. Some of the big matches we have. We've got Sho and Yo defending against Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru in a rematch for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Toru Yano is defending the King of Pro Wrestling 2021 provisional title against Evil, and I think he might lose it, to be honest with you. That's on night 1. Night 2, we've got Tanahashi and Ibushi versus Hanare and Cobb in one of the main events. And then Will Ospreay and Okan versus Shingo Takagi and Tetsuya Naito. Just basically set up for Wrestling Dontaku, where we'll see Tanahashi defending the never open weight belt against Jay White. This is Monday, May 3rd, is Wrestling Dontaku. Taichi and Tama Tonga are going to have an Iron Finger from Hell ladder match.
What the hell is that?
Well, the Iron Finger from Hell, the Iron Glove.
The glove, yeah.
Yeah, that used to belong to Iizuka. Well, now Taichi technically owns it, but Tama Tonga stole it from him. And then the chairman of New Japan actually took it back, and he says, okay, we're going to have you guys fight for this in a ladder match, and the winner gets the Iron Fingers.
Oh, God. Okay.
So that's going to be on
So
Dontaku
Tai
Night
Chi
1.
is missing his special powers with the glove. Is that the lore?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
And then Zack Sabre Jr. is facing off against Tonga Loa in another match, previewing the tag match, the tag championship rematch that we're going to see. And then on night 2 of Wrestling Dontaku, you've got Ospreay defending his newly won IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Shingo Takagi. El Desperado is defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Yo, which is going to be a sick match. And then some more tag matches down the card to set up for the next big show down the road, which will be, let's see, that's going to be
What's New Japan Strong, right?
The big one in Japan is going to be Wrestle Grand Slam, which will be May 29th. The only one we know so far from that card is that Okada is facing whoever is the champ at that point, either Shingo Takagi or Will Ospreay.
Oh.
So, and I suspect we're going to see the tag rematch between Dangerous Tekkers and GOD at that as well.
Nice.
So,
lots going on in New Japan for sure.
Yeah,
Holy
but we do
smokes.
have you're right though. We do have the New Japan Strong U.S. Cup that begins this Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Whole first round will be this Friday. Brody King versus Chris Dickinson, Fred Rosser versus Hikuleo, Ren Narita versus Tom Lawler, filthy Tom Lawler, Clark Connors versus Leo Rush. So that's going on this Friday to see who's winning the U.S. Cup for the New Japan Strong. And finally, Nick, another big event in New Japan before we can get out of here, because New Japan just went nuts this week. Tons of stuff happening over there before WrestleMania. They tried to get all their WrestleMania stuff out of the way this last week. Finally, Jon Moxley has picked his next opponent for the U.S. Championship, none other than Yuji Nagata, one of the hardest hitters in New Japan.
Damn.
Blue Justice versus Jon Moxley. No idea when that's going to be yet. They have not announced, but he did challenge Yuji Nagata. He said, come on into the saloon and bring your 6-shooter. So Moxley versus Nagata. That'll probably be a pretty good match too. I'm guessing the earliest we'll see that would be either on Strong, sometime if they can get Nagata over here, or if they can get Moxley over there, it might be at Wrestle Grand Slam as well.
Damn.
So, and that's New Japan, Nick. What an insane week.
No kidding.
Over there in the land of the rising
Who knows
sun.
where that's going to go from here on out. Costanza threw in 100 bids, said, all aboard! Ozzy Osbourne is in the Hall of Fame. Why in the hell would you not announce that ahead of time?
They did. They announced it about 5 or 6 hours ago.
Wow. Congratulations.
That's pretty cool.
To the Dark Knight, indeed.
The Dark Knight.
The Dark, whatever the hell he is.
He's the fucking Prince of Darkness.
He's the Prince of Darkness. Thank you.
Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
He's a Prince of Darkness, man.
Yeah. Well, well, in honor of Ozzy, let's go over and do something that we like to call our moment of positivity.
Oh yeah. It's a moment. I'm sorry. I got to stop doing Ozzy now. It's a moment of positivity. That's right. It's our time on the show where we look back at the last few days of wrestling and pick something that made us smile, that made us happy, that we can say that we liked, so we can leave this show on a positive note and not be mired down all the negativity that can sometimes happen when we're bitching and kvetching about wrestling. So, Nick, what was your moment of positivity for the last few days?
For the last few days?
Yes, it's our last show.
God. Can it be something I'm excited about? Or does it have to be something that happened?
It's something positive. Say something positive, Nick.
I am over the moon excited that Raquel Gonzalez is finally getting her chance at Io Shirai and is likely to win and be somewhat anointed in the process. I am so excited for that match. It's one of the ones that I'm looking forward to, like for the entire combination of the matches we're going to see over the course of the next few days. That one to me just stands out as a bright shining light. I am so excited for Raquel. I remember when she first showed up alongside Dakota Kai after Dakota's turn. I was looking at it going, oh no, Reina Gonzalez. Oh, she's massive. Why are we doing this? No, don't diesel her. And they flipped it around. Dakota was white hot at the time against Tegan. and they have flipped it around to where Dakota is kind of irrelevant, and
I actually
Raquel
feel-
is all the rage.
I kind of feel like they dieseled her the way that they should have done Diesel back in the day. Like
That's fair.
they've booked this the way that they should have done the Shawn and Diesel back in the day. Only they just need to now have Dakota, as you say, be more relevant. And then, yeah. So also it might be that Reina Gonzalez or Raquel Gonzalez is actually a more engaging figure than Kevin Nash was at that time.
That's true.
She's certainly not up her own ass quite so much.
That's true. And just in general, I got to say, there doesn't look like there's going to be a bad match on the entire Stand and Deliver card.
No.
All of them are going to be bangers.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I'm so excited to get to do the show with you and all of our phenomenal ones and include that in the pick'ems and all of that. Like, just that's my mop. I'm very excited about what we are embarking upon over the course of the next 6 days.
Same.
This is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys are here for it too. What about you, Surrey and Dangerous? What was your moment of positivity?
Mine is from Raw, and it's something that we didn't actually talk about on Raw because I skipped over that part of the notes. But before the New Day match, before the Xavier and AJ Styles match, they were hanging out with Matt Riddle in Gorilla, and the weed jokes were flying.
Yeah.
More than the birds that come out of Matt Riddle's feet now when he jumps into the ring.
Yep.
My God, I haven't heard that many blatant weed jokes on WWE ever. Even there was a munchie joke at the end of it. It was the punchline. That was the capper to the whole thing. Is after talking to Riddle for too long, Xavier Woods and Kofi were both like, "Man, I don't know why, but I'm really hungry for some milk and cookies right now."
There was a grinding reference in there. There was all kinds of stuff. I was just
Sticky
like, damn.
versus smelly.
Yeah.
Like there was they were throwing them like hot and heavy.
Yep.
And you know what? I laughed my ass off at
Me
it.
too. I'll give you an honorable mention. One that I laughed my ass off of was Ollie and Sheamus backstage going at each other right before the Riddle and Ali match, and Riddle comes going beep beep and just vrooms right through the middle of them, and I that got a literal LOL out of me. And after a kind of a begrudging Raw last night, I was like, oh, thank God, some levity.
Yeah. It's crazy. Riddle is consistently one of the more entertaining things backstage on Raw. I know his humor's not for everybody, but damn it popped me.
It's funny.
It's my moment of positivity.
Yeah.
It's my mop because I popped. Matt Riddle doing the pot jokes.
Kyle Cotton threw in 100 bits, says, my mop is Gary Hart in the Hall of Fame. A lot of my introduction to pro wrestling was from my late grandfather and watching old footage of Gary Hart promos from WCCW. I didn't get to watch wrestling regularly until around 2003, but my love of wrestling comes from my grandfather introducing me to Gary Hart, and my heart is full from those memories. Fantastic.
And NWA, man. I mean, like, what a history that guy had.
Yeah.
So, they got to do a posthumous one every once in a while. That's a fantastic one. And that's one of those ones, like, sometimes you hear so-and-so's going in the Hall of Fame, and you go, they weren't already in?
Yeah.
That's one of those.
Yeah.
When you hear that, you just go, 2021, he's finally getting in? Yeah, at least he's in there now.
He's in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle. Costanza throwing 100 bits said when he came by on the scooter and made the vroom noise was great. Yeah, that's exactly what I was referring to there. Costanza throwing another 100 bits said, where was Randy and Bray last night? Yeah, that's something we didn't talk about. We're supposed to be doing the moment of positivity. They put up their title match card on TV, but they weren't even on there.
We had a whole video package recapping it. That was it. You know what? Honestly, I'm going to stay positive.
Yeah.
That's all they need.
Yeah.
They don't need anything else. There's nothing more to do in that feud.
They've literally done everything they could possibly do at this point.
There's nothing else they need to do with that feud.
I'm genuinely curious what they're actually going to do for a match. Is it just going to be a straight up wrestling match? That'll be terrible.
I don't know, man. I thought the strap match between The Fiend and Daniel Bryan was going to suck, and then they pulled that one out. So
that's true. That's fair.
It's possible.
That's fair.
It's possible.
Well, guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with the patron mailbag. We're going to throw the pause screen up. Everybody take 10 minutes, refill your drink, quick bio break, all that kind of good stuff. Go over and look over your pick'em sheets, patrons, for NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Alert me if there's anything wrong with them. But yes, guys, let's call it, let's say 5 till, and we'll be back to do the patron mailbag. Linktree.com/BWO for all the links to all the stuff and things where you do all the likes and shares and subscribes for all of our stuff. Make sure you find that all over there. And the best way to support the show, either with with bits and subs here on Twitch, super chats over on YouTube, or you can head over to patreon.com/BWO. Sign up for one of those reward tiers. You still got time. You can still sneak in and participate in the BWO Patron Pick'ems Championship. All you got to be in is that $5 tier for just $5 to the cost of buying myself or Sir Ian Dangerous a beer. That's it. And you can play for cash, not cash. We're not giving away cash, just to be sure. I almost said cash and prizes. No. We'll give away a bunch of merch. You guys are getting a whole bunch of merch prize packs.
And also, I'm going to throw this out there now as a little taster. There may be some new merch designs as well involved. Just keep throwing that out there.
You might want to be in this.
Just saying. Might be some fun stuff.
We're just saying.
We're just saying. Wink, wink.
Yes.
Nudge, nudge.
But thank you very much for all the bits and subs tonight. Thank you for everybody watching. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. We'll call it 5 till with the patron mailbag. But until then, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But my God!
Somebody stop the damn match!
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.
This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle. Pentagon Junior.
The villain, Marty Skell.
The Mexican Rey Fenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the busted wide open.
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 Boston Wide Open.
Busted wide open podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome, everybody, to BWO Live, coming to you from Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, now simulcasting across the universe. The BWO universe, that is. Welcome, everybody, to the Patron Mailbag, episode number 75. My name is Nick Howell.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. And yes, this is the mailbag episode. That's right. It's the episode where we answer the questions that you ask of us over on patreon.com/BWO. That's right. Just sign up for one of our lovely reward tiers, and you too can ask questions that we answer on this very show. And the questions can be about anything.
Yeah.
We're a wrestling show. We mostly do wrestling stuff and wrestling questions. But if you want to, it's an AMA. You can ask us anything. We'll answer it, or we'll try our best to. And sometimes it's funny when we try and fail. So that's what the show is all about: is having a good time, relaxing, and shooting the shit, and asking some questions and answering some questions for us, Nick.
Indeed.
Yes.
And we got a lot today, boys. Woo.
Oh, boys and girls, we are strap yourselves in. Boys and girls and other, strap yourselves in.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of questions. It's WrestleMania week. Of course we do. Of course we do.
Yes.
It's going to be a madhouse. I'm looking forward to this. Nick, what do we have on our plate today?
Well, shout out to everybody in chat on Twitch. Shout out to everybody over on YouTube. Shout out to everybody over on Facebook. You guys are awesome.
Yeah. If we're shouting out to the phenomenal ones, we're shouting out to everyone who's in the chats right now.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. If you're watching this later, we are live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. And then this show, the mailbag show, is right after that. It's one long show, essentially, when you're watching
Usually
it live
about 10
streaming.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Eastern, 7 Pacific.
Eastern, 7 Pacific. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good time to catch this show. And then, of course, we also have our shows on Friday right after SmackDown.
But not this week. Crazy schedule. Crazy times. 6 straight nights of BWO Live, folks.
Well, we do have the one on Friday after SmackDown. We just also happen to have 5 other shows as well. We're on every night this week, Nick.
Yes. It's
After
WrestleMania season, baby.
Oh, my goodness. It's a madhouse, Nick. It's a madhouse, including the number of questions we have today, according to you. Apparently, we've got a ton. So, Nick, let's not dawdle. Let's get right into it. What do we got today?
Costanza threw in 100 bits real quick, said, for all the new Hall of Fame members. I can't wait to watch it later. As soon as we get done here. Will James is kicking it. Thank you very much, Chris. Will James threw in, guys, long week already. What day is it?
It's the
We got a long way to go.
Yeah. Nick, you can't be tired of the
I got to hold it together.
Oh, my God.
Will James' question is, so for context, instead of using the normal question marks for the post picture on this one, I used a darling picture of Keiko.
Your new puppy.
Yes. Well, she's not a puppy anymore. That's a dog.
She's still a puppy. I've seen the pictures.
She's still a puppy by age, but that's a dog.
Yeah. She's a big gangly puppy.
Yes, she is. She's got big, long, gangly legs that have giant paws, and it's like if you took like a bulb and tied it to the end of a stick and swung it around. That's what her legs look like running around. It's just
for context. When you first got her, you could actually bring her onto the show, and she could all fit in the frame. Now she doesn't fit in the frame.
She's over 20 pounds now.
Oh my God.
She's already 8 pounds when we brought her home.
She's already over a quarter my dog's weight.
Yep.
That's nuts.
She's lapped Rocco at this point.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She's gonna be a big dog.
Yeah,
so Will James says, Keiko, puppies! Happy start of
Puppies,
6 straight Mania Week podcast, fellas. So we have 4 whole days of hopefully quality and abundant programming. With that, of course, comes the mandatory gluttony. So what are the spreads going to be? We have to get creative or economical with 4 days of planning. Stay phenomenal, everyone. Step 1, Get a Costco membership.
Oh my God. Accomplished. I just don't know
I
when I'm
will
gonna
be
go.
making a very quick Costco run tomorrow to pick up one of the 5-pound boxes of chicken wings, buffalo wings, cheese sticks.
Chicken?
Yeah. Oh, okay. We got a little chicken there. So some mozzarella sticks, and I think the other one I was going to do. They've got the baked potato skins, loaded baked potato skins with bacon and cheese on
You're
them.
not playing.
I'm not messing around.
You're going Super Bowl Sunday on this.
Yeah, I am.
Man,
I love it.
I love that. So there's a predilection in this group to discuss food.
Yes.
And I'm not mad at that. I just want to throw that out there. I love it.
If you tell me that you're going to eat fucking muffins with tuna fish on them for WrestleMania week,
If my cupboard weren't so far away from my computer, I'd actually go and pull out the box of raisin muffins that I have in there right now. But that's not my spread for WrestleMania or any of the shows. Those are happening in the afternoons and evenings. The tuna fish on the raisin muffins is for breakfast. Come on, Nick. You have to do it at the right time of day.
Absolutely disgusting.
Spread for the evenings. Will's not lying. I mean, 4 days. Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's going to be. I know at least one day where there's going to be a bit of a WrestleMania day one. There's going to be a bit of a shindig at my place, and there will be crackers and probably some nice fancy cheese and some fancy meats, some prosciutto, the salami,
bit of a charcuterie spread.
A little bit of charcuterie, maybe some nice
a plate of many meats and cheeses.
A plate of many meats and cheeses, and little pickles as well. That's going to happen at least one of the days. The other days, oh damn it, Will, I don't know yet, man.
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's might happen one of those days, just because I don't know. I grabbed a whole bunch of crap at the store a day or so ago, and hopefully that'll last me for the most of it. I'll get fancy one or two of the days, but aside from that, I don't know. There might be an ordering in of like a big taco platter. There's a place on the street that does rotisserie chicken tacos, and
what?
Yeah, it's there might be a taco.
Do
spread.
me a favor. Give me a box. Give me a box of Tito's. Do it for me.
Tito's Tacos. They do actually have a delivery service now. If y'all aren't from Los Angeles, you don't know about Tito's Tacos, but they're right up the street from me, Nick.
Yeah, I know.
They're right up the street from me. So
I know where you live.
That's true, you do. They deliver, and they deliver to me. That's a good point. I might have to reserve a delivery for Sunday. That's not a bad idea. WrestleMania Day 2 might be Tito's Day. It might be a Tito's Day.
Yeah, the spreads are going to be nuts. The beauty of this is that, for me at least, they're after dinner, so we can make decent meals. So NXT is still going to start at its normal time of 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, both Wednesday and Thursday for stand and deliver. So I will have had dinner at that point, so I won't need too big of a spread, but I'm contemplating what to do. WrestleMania this weekend, on the other hand, that's a different story. I always go pretty big for WrestleMania. But like beef sticks and summer sausage, and like there's going to be some potato skins and buffalo wings, and it's going to be nuts.
Why do we always do this when I haven't had food in a while and I'm hungry for dinner?
Yeah.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it, buddy.
Top question. Way to lead us off, Will.
Yeah. Now I'm going to be drooling for the next couple of questions here. So I'll just wipe my face, please. Forgive me.
Thank you very much, Will. Next up, Andy Jessup, who just showed up in the chat. Our faithful moderator. Good evening,
Andy?
sir. Says, happy WrestleMania week, fellas. A local craft brewery has you both to brew 3 beers.
Ooh.
One inspired by this WrestleMania and one each inspired by your favorite WrestleManias. What would they be? Also, Ian, you mentioned last episode that Asuka was in the top 5 best wrestlers in the world. So who are the other 4? Nick, give your top 5 too.
I believe I said top 5 women wrestlers in the world, female wrestlers in the world, but
I feel like that's a bonus episode. Did we write that one down? Top 5 wrestlers of like in the world.
I mean, it's not very exciting, unfortunately. I mean, I'm pretty much with the consensus that the top 5 in no particular order are Okada, Omega, Ibushi, people that can can have a match, a good match with a blow-up doll, and some of them literally have.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if I've got to pick 4,
he did clarify in chat female wrestlers.
Oh, top 5 best female wrestlers in the world right now. Let's see. Let's see. Aside from Asuka, I'll throw Io Shirai in there. I will throw in Meiko Satomura. Am I on 3? I will throw in. A couple of years ago, I would have said Momo, but I don't think I'm going to do her this time. Charlotte Flair, I'll throw in there. And it's just a matter of if I pick someone from Stardom or if I go for Sasha on this last one. Yeah, Sasha's
I'm gonna give some love
much.
to Thunder Rosa. I think she's in
Thunder Rosa is really, really, really good as well.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. You know what? Just for equity's sake, to kind of spread it across all promotions, I'll say Thunder Rosa.
I don't have a unique 5 from those. Those are my 5. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fair enough.
We have to do beers. So we have to make up each 2 beers. Or you and
3.
I have to make a craft beer for this WrestleMania. Then we each make one for our favorite WrestleMania.
Got it.
So for me it would be 17, and it would be some kind of theme with Rock and Stone Cold.
Okay.
What would I call that?
Call it Rollin' Lager. Keep rolling, rolling, roll. No.
Oh God.
Or My Way Lager.
Yeah, My Way.
My Way Lager.
There you go.
Okay.
That works.
My Way Lager. That was easy.
Yeah. Thank you.
For this one, for this year's WrestleMania, let's see. I'm gonna do an IPA.
Okay.
It's going to be a triple IPA.
Oh shit. Okay.
Because we're going to have 2 hops, and then the third hop is going to forcefully insert itself into the mix. And that way we have a triple IPA, and I'll call it Daniel Bryan in the Mix IPA.
There you go.
Triple IPA. And then my... And unfortunately, 17's my favorite WrestleMania as well, I think, if I was just going to, you know, just take the easy route out, because that's one of the best WrestleManias of all time.
I think it's the best WrestleMania of all time, yeah.
But I'd have to call the I'll say the TLC match was for me like one of the highlights of the show. So I'd have to do
Was Daniel Bryan in that?
He was not, although it was technically a triple threat of tag teams.
Yeah.
He was not somehow in that match. I believe at that point he was still too young to be wrestling, Nick. So, he was not in that match. However, 3 tag teams plus 3 other outsiders. Let's see. What would I do? TLC. I'm trying to think of a good.
Call it Get the Tables.
Style. Ooh, Get the Tables Imperial Stout.
There you go.
Yeah.
I dig
Hits
it.
like a spear from Edge off of the 4th rung of the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like when you get to the certain point of the beer of the
and
IPA.
it's 9% ABV.
Yeah.
1% for every person in that match.
There you Oh, see, that's clever. I like that.
Come
like
on
it.
now.
I like it. There you go,
it
Andy.
is.
Ship it.
There you go, buddy.
Ship it. Next up, Sean Clark says, "Hello, gentlemen and phenomenal ones." I almost need I need some theme music for
the Mop Man.
For the Mop Man. Life is never going to be all sunshine and daisies. It's about being grateful for and appreciating the sunshine and daisies that do find you, that get you through the shitty times. If you're struggling, be hopeful a turnaround can always be around the corner. Oh, so good.
No.
I'm skeptically
if life was all sunshine and daisies, it'd get really boring really quickly.
I don't know.
I'd be okay
with that for right now.
You got to have a little bit of shit to break up the fields of sunshine and daisies, you know?
Yeah, I've had enough shit. I'm done with shit. I'm ready for just like eternal sunshine and daisies at this point.
Hey, you know what the upside of shit is? It fertilizes the fields to get you the sunshine.
The upside of shit is you're pushing up daisies.
That's if there's too much shit and it goes over your head.
Right. Exactly.
That's not okay. We're destroying this metaphor, Nick. Let's what's the rest of his question? Good God.
That's what you get with two metalheads that love horror movies.
Yeah.
Let me do some catch-ups real quick before we do his question. Costanza threw in 100 bits, said, sorry, but how is Kali in the Hall of Fame?
How is Coco Beware in the Hall of Fame? There's a lot. I mean, run down the list. There's a lot of people that are like, and there you go. What?
But
and
still
Bam
no
Bam
Cyndi
Bigelow's,
Lauper.
no Bam Bam Bigelow. What? Yeah, there's a lot of very strange choices.
Thank you, Costanza. Will James threw in 100 bits, said, sorry, guys, I'm hungry too. Food masochist. I am perpetually hungry. There are very few times throughout the day where I could not eat.
I got a full refrigerator right there just mocking me.
Yeah.
Just out of reach.
Thank you, Will. J-Dogs threw in 100 bits, says, what was your biggest surprise debut that you did not see coming? Like ever?
Ever of all time?
Or is that in reference to something else, Jay?
I
got to say AJ Styles. I didn't see AJ Styles coming to WWE. That's one for me. I popped like hell when he showed up.
Biggest surprised? Yeah, I'm trying to. That's definitely recent. I'm trying to think of another. I mean, it's hard for me not to say the Outsiders.
Yeah, he says ever.
Outsiders in WCW. Luger in WCW was a big holy shit moment. Jericho. I remember when Jericho came out on Raw.
Yeah, the countdown.
But we kind of saw that coming, so I guess it wasn't really a surprise.
Yeah.
You know?
That one was,
like,
I believe that one was advertised,
Jericho.
wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't advertised. It was just obvious it was Jericho. You know?
Okay, yeah.
Like, it wasn't, they had been doing the countdown for a few weeks, and everyone, who is it? Who is it? And it was pretty obvious at the time that it was going to be Jericho. It was still really cool. It was still really cool when it happened. I'll stick with the Outsiders as mine.
All right.
That's definitely one of the, Hall and Nash showing up on WCW was definitely a holy shit moment.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
Thank you, J-Dogs.
Hardy Boys coming out of Mania, says Andy. That's a pretty good one too. But it was surprising, but not like there had been that speculation because they had dropped the titles the night before. So everyone kind of suspected they might be doing a big thing. But the way that it happened was definitely a holy shit moment.
Yeah.
Like it was unlikely. And the fact that it happened was definitely a big, that's
definitely a big
there.
pop moment for sure.
Yeah.
Sean Clark's question was, I'm skeptically optimistic it's going to be a good week of wrestling. I think Ospreay took the title because Kenny is going to go for it after Rich Swann, and they want to save the Golden Lovers angle for even later. What do you guys think?
You know, it's funny is when left to my own conspiracy theory devices, I actually wondered if Ibushi, who is known as being a very, prickly, not prickly, but he definitely, he runs to the tune of his own drum.
Yep.
He even openly said that the new belt design was not really something that's not really what he wanted. Like he's pretty outspoken. I wonder if he rubbed people backstage in New Japan the wrong way. And one of the reasons they put it on Ospreay was so that they didn't have to worry about Kenny Omega coming for their belt. Because from what I understand, Kenny Omega still has heat with the higher ups in New Japan. So if Kenny's out there going on a belt hunt and openly saying, I want to face people for belts, one way to not have that discussion about opening the forbidden door to New Japan for Kenny Omega is to just kill the Lovers angle right off the bat.
Yeah.
Not save it for later. We just don't want to do it. Now there's no angle. Now it's on Ospreay. What are you going to do now, Kenny? Come for Ospreay's belt? There's no story there.
Yeah. So
I actually, if I was going to baselessly speculate, Kyle, or Sean, excuse me, I would actually say that, I was looking at the chat, I would actually say that in my baseless speculation, it might be more because they don't want to deal with the Golden Lovers angle at all, and they don't want to deal with Kenny Omega at all. But again, who knows? Who knows? This might have been in the works for a while with Ospreay, given the fact that they did, have this whole year built up to seemingly give him a lot of storyline going forward with now having the title. I feel like Kenny's going to go for Rich Swann, and then I'm not really sure where he's going to go from there. If he's going belt collecting, I still am of the mind that New Japan isn't going to work with him. So, and this to me kind of confirms that.
Yep. I don't know that even if Kota still had it, I'm not sure they would let him in the door.
But this keeps Kota from having any kind of say.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Costanza throwing 100 bits said Kane was a good debut.
Kane was a good debut, but it wasn't a surprise debut in the same way as like oh my God, that like AJ Styles was oh my God, hey, what's AJ Styles doing in the WWE zone, right?
Yeah.
Although that being said, Kurt Angle going to TNA. There's a lot of people that went to TNA that were shock entrances, but Kane was just a really cool debut. One of the coolest debuts of all time.
Comes out with the hand wave, lights up, all good.
Rips the door off the cell.
Yep. That's gotta be Kane.
It's amazing.
J-Dog's throwing 100 bits said, this is for Surrey and Dangerous. Was there ever a match that even you thought was just too much or you couldn't handle it?
In terms of violence?
I'm assuming that's what that means, yeah.
I did see one of my buddies showed me some clips from a Japanese hardcore match recently where they were doing some spots that were straight out of like a Saw movie, where there was like razor blade beds, and they were actually like inserting needles into the guy's back and like sewing up his back. It was pretty crazy. It was a real life horror movie.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to say it was too much because I didn't turn it off or look away, but it was definitely the most I've been tested.
Yeah. Even I'm picturing it in my head. I'm going, oh.
Yeah. Wasn't Freedoms, I think it was. Freedoms? Yeah, Freedoms Wrestling, I think. So
I've seen a light tube basically impale a guy, and that was about as far as I
mean, I watched the David Arquette's documentary, and you watch a light tube almost kill him, but poke him in the neck.
There was a guy, I forget, I don't know if it was a CZW show or something, but he was up walking around. They were collar and elbow tied up in the middle of the ring, and he had half of a light tube sticking out of his back, like it was it was nasty.
I mean, do you remember some of the stuff they were doing? Like, it was actually light compared to some of the stuff I've seen from New Japan, where they actually have like nails in people's heads. But like some of the serving skewers they had in Lucha Underground in the one match with Cage and Sami Callihan and I think Mil Muertes, there was one spot where Cage had like 8 or 9 serving skewers impaled into his mohawk, into his head.
Yeah.
I've seen stuff like that in Japan too.
What was the other? Oh, I think I sent this video to you. We've had thumbtack spots, we've had Lego spots, and we even had one recently on AEW with Chucky T.
Yep.
Last week. But what we've never really seen before, that I've never seen before outside of Japan, was the hard plastic dinosaur figures.
Oh, yeah.
I sent you a video, I think, on that. I can't imagine somebody getting power bombed on that.
They don't really have those in America anymore, and probably for good reason. Because Nick, you had those when you were a kid. I had them when I was a kid. They were about, you could get anywhere between like 6 and 12 inches tall, dinosaurs, and they were, as you say, Nick, hard plastic. A little bit of give to them, but they were pretty hard. No, and for most of them, they had tails on them. Some of them 6 inches long that could have been used as a weapon. If those were to go into someone's eye, you would kill someone.
Yeah.
Full stop. Not even a question. Using those in a match, I think, is actually dangerous because if they're on the ground in the right angle, you could impale someone and basically stab them 6 inches in. So those are scarier to me than thumbtacks.
Yeah.
Thumbtacks, half an inch. It doesn't even really pierce your skin layer. But those things could actually stab you and like puncture an organ. So
if you're interested, who was that asked? Oh, that was J-Dogs. J-Dogs, see if you can find the toy dinosaur spot.
No,
it's out there on the internet somewhere.
That you'd have to make that.
It was a women's match. I'm not sure if it was Joshi or Stardom or what it was, but it was
same thing.
It was a women's match.
Wow.
Yep.
That's scary.
Let's see. Thank you very much for the bits, everybody. Thanks, Sean Clark, Mr. Mopman. There you go. Next up, Brandon, the Mullet King Monroe, coming to us from down under. Says, hey, great ones. Hope you are feeling ready for the mad week of wrestling coming this week, and I hope everyone is all happy and enjoying life. And at Mania, I will be redubbed the BWO Patron Pick'ems Champion, and I personally would like to thank the transitional champ. Sorry, forgot his name.
Oh,
snap! It's
cold.
It's Mike Miller.
Mike Miller. Say his name.
Yes.
We speak your name.
The reigning, defending BWO Patron Pick'ems champion, Mike Miller.
You know, can I throw this out there? Yeah. Like, Mike Miller's been a great champ, and he's also the first champ to have to defend in a 4 Quarters of Doom Pick'ems challenge. Like, Mike, I feel for you, bro. That's a rough one.
It's going to be brutal.
That's going to be brutal.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like a WWE champ having to defend in a fatal 4-way match.
Right.
Sometimes you can't always pick the matches you have to defend. You got to be a fighting, defending champ.
There you go.
And if you lose, there's nothing bad about losing in this kind of scenario, Mike.
True.
If you do. And if you win, you're just that much better of a champ. But you got people like Brandon Monroe coming for you.
Yep. He says now his questions today. Ian, debate why Walter as the Arnold Schwarzenegger of wrestling. Nick, debate why Miro is the Arnold Schwarzenegger of wrestling. Let's do that one first, then we'll do the next one.
What? I mean,
why is Walter the Arnold Schwarzenegger of wrestling? And I say I debate why Miro is the Arnold Schwarzenegger of wrestling.
Okay. Well, simply put, Walter is from Austria. Arnold Schwarzenegger is from Austria.
Correct.
Walter is a big, strong man. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a big, strong man. They're both dominant. They're both at the top of their game. Both of them are the best there is at what they do. They both have a ton of respect. Well, that's not true. Arnold Schwarzenegger had no respect for bodybuilding whatsoever. He loved doing it, but he was not respectful of anybody else in that. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. They're both big guys from Austria. Nick, why is Miro the Arnold Schwarzenegger of wrestling?
Because he's actually a bodybuilder.
Miro?
Walter is not. Walter doesn't look like he's lifted a weight in 20 years. He's just a giant man.
Yeah. He's a big bear. He looks like he's got some muscle. He's got tons of muscle. He's just, he likes the bratwurst.
There's power lifters and there's bodybuilders. And Miro's got the sculpture.
He's sculpting more. When he came into WWE, he was more of like, he was just,
he was a heavy,
big, thick dude. Yeah. And now he's sculpted up a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
And he frankly, he sounds more like him. He yells. He emotes and yells more like Arnold than Walter.
Walter actually has an Austrian accent. Miro's got a Bulgarian accent. Chucky T, don't you understand? This Sunday, I'll destroy you.
Orange Cassidy. What even is that name?
As opposed to Walter, who says the mat is sacred.
Yes.
It is sacred to me. Get into my ring, and soon you'll be running away. Running away like
and
a
I'll rip out your goddamn spine.
Put my fist into your stomach and pull out your goddamn spine. After the Tommaso Ciampa match, I'm sorry, ref. Please don't disturb Tommaso Ciampa. He's dead tired.
His next question was non-wrestling related. Favorite Jim Carrey movies? Mine is The Mask or Ace Ventura. That's an easy one. It's Dumb and Dumber for me.
Finn Balor. Remember when I said I'd kill you last? I lied. Favorite Jim Carrey movie? I love The Mask. I love Liar Liar.
I do have some affection for Liar Liar as well.
God, I love Liar Liar. Oh, that
movie is kind of an acting clinic as well. It's so good.
I love the outtakes too at the
Yeah.
end. Ace Ventura is probably the hardest I've ever laughed at a Jim Carrey movie.
Dumb and Dumber for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I never-
you
Dumb and
probably
Dumber
haven't
never
seen it
stuck
in a
with me.
long time. If even it still holds up. You go back and
Yeah.
the jokes still work.
I never thought Dumb and Dumber was that funny. I preferred Me, Myself, and Irene. I thought that was funnier. So I'm just saying, as Jim Carrey movies go. Here's the thing. Okay, how about this? Truman Show or Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Eternal Sunshine.
Same. Truman Show's great. Eternal Sunshine is goddamn brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It's
It's
in
just
that in that pantheon of like all-time top movies, I think.
And in my opinion, it's a better performance from him.
Sure. So if the question was favorite Jim Carrey, my favorite one is Dumb and Dumber. It's not necessarily his best performance.
Okay. I'll go The Mask.
Okay.
And I'm by favorite, I mean the one that I could watch over and over and over again the most. Like I've probably seen that in Ace Ventura nearly the same amount of times.
Yeah.
The Mask I can watch The Mask at any time. I kind of have to feel like Ace Ventura because it's just a little bit dumber.
Yeah.
Whereas The Mask I can always watch and just feel good afterwards.
I thought Dumb and Dumber was the funniest movie I'd ever seen until Team America came around. And then Team America stole that crown.
Really goddamn. It's still Spaceballs. Still Spaceballs. For me.
Costanza threw in 100 bits, said already posted my question, but just thought of this. What's your top 10 guys? Hang on, we got a ton of questions to get through. We'll get to your question. Thank you for the bits. We can't insert a random top 10 in the middle of it.
Wait, but
top 10 entrance themes. Do you want to take a swing at that?
Oh my God. We'll get a top 3.
Do a top 3.
Top 3 entrance themes. Edge, Aleister Black, and oh, that's 2. Let me think of my third one. You go. You start going.
Stone Cold, The Rock. And funny enough, we just talked about him. Y2J. I think Y2J's was brilliant. Like the countdown, not the light up jacket or any of that shit.
Right. I'm gonna have to say it's either Undertaker or Aleister Black. I just don't want to go all modern. I'll say Undertaker.
There you go.
Costanza
threw in another 100 bits. What happened to Sully? I let him go.
I let them go.
I let them go.
I'd let them go.
All right, so let's get through. So, all right, we're done with that one. Thank you very much, Brandon. Look forward to your picks. Good luck on the getting your championship back.
Don't forget, let us
goodbye and good night. Bang.
I'll see you at the potty, Rick.
Yeah. Next up, Martin Welch says, "Good day, gents, and hello to all my phenomenal family. All is good in the world. Happiness is everywhere. All you have to do is look a little." That's right. That's right.
Thank you, brother. Well said.
My question is a simple one this week. If Ciampa beats Walter and goes back to the UK for a run, who in the UK takes the title off of him? For the record, I don't think Ciampa wins. Wish you all peace, love, and donuts. Happy WrestleMania week. I'll see you on Saturday and Sunday in Discord. Soon to be two-time Booby Champ out.
That's true. He rolled for it last week,
Yeah.
so it's. But I don't believe in destiny, Martin. It doesn't have to go down like that. Let's see. It's hard for me not to say Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah,
because
that's
be
exactly where I was going.
Yeah, that seems to be the cycle. But yeah, I don't know who else does it at this point in NXT UK. I mean, Ciampa does open up a lot more people to potentially take it off of him than Walter does. Walter just seems so impregnable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm take the easy way out and say Ilya Dragunov. That seems to be the one where it's a payoff of a story.
Yeah.
At least the most.
And then maybe he takes it off of Ciampa, and then Walter comes back for it, and we get Dragunov, Walter 2.0.
Sure.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
Thank you very much, Martin. Let's see. What do we got going on over here? J-Dogs threw in 100 bits, said, here's a random question.
Okay.
You forgot the question, Jay. Oh, he threw it in chat. Here it is. Who is your favorite all-time WrestleMania match?
You have to listen to our special that we did on that. We did a bonus episode all about that. So just $10 tier on Patreon, And you can get a full-length answer to that question.
We finally declared our top.
Holy crap!
Top best and top worst.
It was it was competitive. It was competitive.
Yes.
We'll give you the best and the worst WrestleMania matches of all time in that bonus episode.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Jay. Andy threw in 100 bits, said, why is Mick Foley's music not on that list?
Because Mick Foley's music sucks.
Yeah, it was all right.
It's iconic, but it's not good.
Yeah. Car crash.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Dude Loves music is better than that.
It's nowhere. The car crash is nowhere near the glass shatter. Or if you smell.
It's up. But the music itself is just.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Martin. Next up, Brian Average. Greetings and salutations from the BWO prophet himself. You're a prophet now?
Oh, he's a prophet.
Oh,
is he?
Okay.
But is he a street prophet?
The path to reclaim my Pick'em's championship is nearly complete. The light at the end of this dark path I've traveled on for over a year has grown bright. It's so close that I've reached out and felt that smooth, shiny, and glistening gold title belt.
That sounds dirty.
It's begging me to take her back.
Oh, God.
Take her. No, I'm not.
Keep going. Just keep going.
She's missed me.
Just keep going.
She yearns to be strapped around my waist again.
Oh, my goodness.
After this week, she will be mine, and I will be hers as I become the first ever two-time BWO champion. As I once said not too long ago, this isn't a prediction. This isn't even a spoiler. This is a prophecy, and not even Christopher Walken or Viggo Mortensen can stop me.
Nice reference.
Anyway, there can be only one. Anyway, on to my question.
That's Highlander. That's Highlander.
What? Oh, you're thinking of Walken prophecy. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're thinking of it's prophecy.
Who is the guy?
With Christopher Walken as Angel Gabriel?
No. Who's Highlander guy?
What? Oh, Christopher Lambert.
Lambert, thank you.
Yeah. Not Christopher. That's Christopher Walken. How do you get those two mixed up?
I was thinking, as I was reading that, I had Highlander in my head. I'm not sure why.
No one does Christopher Lambert impressions unless they want to mock the fact that he's a Frenchman playing a Scotsman in a movie where they have a Scotsman playing a Spaniard. Je retourne now, pendejo. Terrible.
Anyway, on to my question. I recently sat down, yesterday to be more exact, and decided to give this Japanese series on Netflix called Alice in Borderland a shot. Without knowing anything about it except the brief description that they gave. I ended up binge watching the entire season in one sitting and was happy to learn that they will have a second one. Are there any other series from other countries on Netflix, Prime, Hulu, etc. that you have seen or heard about that are worth watching? Looking forward to this entire week of WrestleMania TakeOver. The road to WrestleMania has been a shit show of potholes and very little scenery to look at, but the show itself looks impressive. Can't wait for the events, but also looking forward to the recaps. Truly appreciate all you guys do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, man.
Any foreign series on the streaming services that you're a fan of that you want to give a shout out to?
I don't know if they're on there right now. I mean, so foreign language or foreign? Because I could quickly call out Flight of the Conchords, or I'm not sure if they're streaming right now, but like Bottom, Young Ones, The Mighty Boosh, any like of those British shows. I don't know if they're streaming or not, but as far as anime, there's one that I caught that I watched one episode and just went through the whole thing, and that was I think it's The Promised Neverland. I think that's what Promised Neverland or Promised Wonderland. I'm pretty sure it's Promised Neverland. Yeah, The Promised Neverland. And that I think it's on HBO Plus with the Crunchyroll add-on, I think. I know it's streaming somewhere. I have to look it up where it is. But Promised Neverland is an awesome little anime series that it's best to go into having not read anything, because you're not expecting what it is.
Damn.
You think you know what it is, and then it just takes a hard left, and you go, "Wait, what? It's what is going on?" It's great, and it's not long. I think it's only like 1 or 2 seasons, so worth a look.
Yeah, I don't have any recommendations, unfortunately. I'm not that cultured. I'll leave that to Ian.
So, thanks, buddy.
And as soon as we announce and release the form for the BWO Patron Pick'em Championship for NXT Stand and Deliver, Kyle Cotton just threw in 100 bits and informed us that they've just announced for the TakeOver pre-show Zoe Stark and Tony Storm. Yet another
All right.
great match. WrestleMania
That's
what?
gonna be a fan-freaking-tastic match.
I'm all over that.
Hell yes.
Yeah, maybe she'll bring her new puppy. Oh,
Maybe
no,
she
that's
will.
right. Dog Dad has to stay home with it.
Oh, no. Dude, just because she's now dating Juice Robinson and she dumped you does
Listen,
not mean you have to get petty about it.
I get a dog and then she gets a dog.
I'm just,
tell me.
you guys have some sort of weird, petty, competitive thing going on. All right? It's not our problem.
I know. I know.
You guys keep your domestic squabbles to yourselves.
Fine.
Okay? God.
Fine. Thank you very much, Brian. Next up, Jay Reyes says, after the awesome scene in AEW where Orange Cassidy came out to Pixies, I got to thinking about wrestlers using real songs as themes. I think wrestlers' themes are important to that character. Rock, Stone Cold, Hogan, Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, and others all had iconic themes that were company made. While guys like Daniel Bryan, Macho Man, New Jack using Dr. Dre, Tommy Dreamer, Alice in Chains, CM Punk using both Living Colour and Killswitch Engage, Raven using Offspring, Edge using Metalingus, all have had songs that are all well known to be associated with them that were already made popular songs.
RVD using Pantera's Walk.
There you go. I lost my spot. I like the idea of wrestlers using songs by popular rock, metal, hip-hop, etc., even if it was a classical composer like Walter's theme. There's something to be said for Jim Johnston and CFOs to build iconic songs that will fit a wrestler from scratch, but there is equally something to be said for wrestlers using their favorite band or song as a theme. What do you guys think?
You said it, man. I mean, it's a wrestler's theme, whether it's made in-house or whether it's pre-existing, can be iconic and then be identified with them and vice versa.
Yeah.
And I'm easy either way as long as it fulfills that quota. I hear the first couple of bars of Randy Orton's theme and I immediately think of Randy Orton. And I don't even like his entrance theme. It's very mid 2000s because that's what it was.
Edge put Alter Bridge on the map for a lot of people. They put Miles Kennedy and the leftovers from Creed.
Sure.
And Mark Tremonti and I can't remember the drummer's name. They put Alter Bridge on the map for people. That was their debut album.
Yep. Yeah.
So that I discovered Blackbird because I watched wrestling. Or I discovered Alter Bridge and that Blackbird album because of Edge and while I watched wrestling.
And that's actually kind of where I was going with that was I think maybe the best of all worlds is if you can get a theme that then becomes iconic with the wrestler, but also is good for the band.
Yeah.
Right. And exposes people to a new band. Maybe it's something where like a Code Orange. A lot of people didn't know who Code Orange was.
Yep.
Or
Poppy for Io Shirai.
Right, who's having a she was already doing just fine, but
I had never heard of her before she came out and performed for Io.
There you go. So yeah, whether or not it's made in company or not, I really don't care. Like one of my favorite themes of the last few years was Aleister Black.
Yeah,
that's still like if he leaves WWE, I don't know if I can ever see him come out and not want him to come out to that goddamn theme.
I still remember that iconic shot to the crowd of that girl like singing when he would come out in NXT. There was that one shot where the girl, I think it was at a takeover. There was that one girl that knew I didn't even know all the words. And she was singing just all into it. I was just like, oh, this. It was one of the first times I saw Aleister Black's entrance.
Yeah.
And they had that cutaway shot.
Look at Jericho right now with Judas. Look what that's doing for him.
Fantastic.
It makes his entrance an event.
It's becoming.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Kyle Cotton gifted 2 Tier 1 subs. Oh, my goodness. Thank you very much, man, to RJR and a bunch of numbers and Broken Wheelchair. Thank you very much, Kyle. Oh, he did 3 gifted subs. 3 gifted Tier 1 subs.
Nice.
Also to M. Walsh 112. Guys, if you got a sub from Kyle Cotton, make sure you send him thanks. Thank you very much, Kyle, for those gifted subs. He said 37 subs for WrestleMania 37. Thank you very much, man.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That does put us at 37. It says 38 on the screen. That's wrong, though. Sorry.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Much appreciated, man.
And thank you, Jay. Very good question, man. Unless you got something more to say about it there, Nick.
Yeah, that's a good question. I tend to like originality, but I also recognize that I have even discovered songs. There was very heavy use during the late Attitude Era and the early 2000s of Puddle of Mud and Limp Bizkit and Disturbed and stuff. Like
Drowning
they were trying
Pool.
to hit that like pop new metal stuff.
Godsmack.
Godsmack, yeah. And
Godsmack never. No, we talked about this before. Godsmack was never involved, were they? Surprisingly,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I will say this: even in modern times today, look at NXT, Wage War. That's a band I had never heard of. I absolutely freaking adore them now. I think they're fantastic.
Right.
They've got a couple of really banger metal songs. Who else have I? There's been, I mean, Triple H's journey through music, through metal, and serving it via NXT has served me. I've discovered numerous bands that I would have never found otherwise. So it's still happening today. It's still going on today. Now, those aren't necessarily wrestler entrance or theme songs, but even the way that it's being used as theme songs for pay-per-view events and things like that, it goes beyond even the wrestlers themselves. So really good point, Jay. Thank you very much for good question there.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Good stuff.
Billy Stickler next up says phenoms, she-noms, and non-binoms. I have but three things to say to start off this glorious week. Firstly, and maybe most importantly, Nia Jax is excellent. You, Billy.
I knew that was going to be a controversial statement.
If you don't like her, maybe get a COVID test, as you seem to have lost taste.
Oh,
I see. Listen, you want to
keep.
I got a shot today.
Stop showing your Batista tattoo. Sit back down.
That's my Randy Orton Batista hybrid tattoos.
Yeah, right.
For those just listening,
sure.
I got my first shot today. My Band-Aid's still on the shoulder. Not feeling a thing, actually.
So you might have lost taste from COVID, is what you're saying?
No. It's literally impossible at this point. I jest, but needed Nick to say that out loud. Secondly, good luck with picks.
You barely got him to do it. Barely got him to do it, Billy.
Yep. Good luck with picks. No promos, no smack talk. Just me saying I will win.
Ooh.
And thirdly, a break from wrestling. Can you power rank the holy trinity of Nicolas Cage action films? Con Air, The Rock, and Face Off. It's never been an ending debate. It's been a never-ending debate at work as to which is best. Good luck, have fun, and stay phenomenal. See you all this weekend. Thank you, Billy.
Number 1, Face Off. Number 2, The Rock. Number 3, Con Air.
Number 1, The Rock. Number 2, Con Air. Number 3, Face Off.
You dirty son of a bitch. There's no way that Con Air is better than Face Off. Go watch those again. Con Air is crap.
What?
I'll stop and I'll rewind and I'll say it again.
It's got Malkovich in it.
Con Air is crap, and they totally waste him.
Oh, God.
Totally waste. They waste everybody in that movie except for Danny Trejo. Even Buscemi playing a knockoff wannabe Hannibal Lecter.
They got him doing a very bad Georgia accent.
Oh, it's
Nicolas
hard.
Cage.
Cage's accent, his horrible wig. Con Air is awful. Face Off is freaking amazing.
Face Off is amazing. All three of those films are amazing.
And then The Rock.
The Rock is easily number 1 for me because one, you've got Sean Connery running around dropping one-liners everywhere.
That's a hell of a Sean Connery.
Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. Yeah.
Maria was the prom queen. Really? Yeah. Let's go. I love
Maybe we should
The
go
Rock.
find some rockets. A-hole. Just so many. I mean, it's Bruckheimer Bay at their best. It really is.
Of your cell. So no, that's back when Michael Bay actually could pull off like a really good action film, and all of his tropes weren't totally wildly overdone. Definitely got a lot of love for The Rock, but just I also have you just even more love for that crazy kung fu action style that John Woo brought to Face Off. So for me, Face Off edges out The Rock. Con Air isn't even in the discussion.
Oof.
For me. Yeah,
I do have to give credit where credit's due. There is another Nicolas Cage film that I simply cannot turn off when it's on.
The Wicker Man?
National Treasure.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those that if it shows up on USA or TNT or Disney Plus now that it's on there. I mean, I've already watched it on Disney, both of them on Disney Plus. It's just good popcorn fodder. And, the history stuff that they make up and all the conspiracies and all that. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
That's one of those ones where, like, it's getting a reputation as being a modern classic that a lot of people are like, that people love, and for whatever reason didn't get the recognition when it came out. But now everyone's kind of going back and be like, no, I love National Treasure. You love National Treasure? I love National Treasure. And I'm hearing that all over. it never stuck with me. Every time I watch it, it feels like not even Indiana Jones, like Indiana Jones 0, right? I want to go watch Indiana Jones or play Uncharted. I don't care.
Let me give you a way that it will stick with you, Sir Ian Dangerous, the drinking bartender. I want you to do a shot every time somebody says Declaration of Independence.
No, I don't want to. No, why would I play it? Why would I want to watch that movie and get drunk while watching it?
You'd be drunk in 10 minutes.
Well, there you go.
You'd be on the floor.
And then at least I wouldn't have to watch the movie. So great. That's a fantastic idea. Can I throw in Raising Arizona into the Nick Cage movies?
Absolutely can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just please throw that in there? Can I just take out Con Air?
That was the role that Nick Cage reprised in Con Air.
Yeah. Only in Con Air, it sucked.
Give me that baby.
So there you go.
There you go, Bill. It seems even I and Surrey and Dangerous are at odds with this one. So, anyway, best of luck to you as well this weekend. Next
Once
up,
Bitten, Wild at Heart. Can we throw some real, like Leaving Las Vegas, some real Nicolas Cage movies?
Leaving Las Vegas, I think is his best performance.
Oh, he won the Oscar for it.
It's easily. I mean, he's been in a bajillion straight-to-video films. There's one where he played a bad lieutenant. If you haven't seen Bad Lieutenant yet,
his remake of Bad Lieutenant. Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
It's a tough film to get through, but if you got through Leaving Las Vegas, you can get through it.
It was like a pseudo sequel, right? Because it was Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, right? Because the original was, I believe, Harvey Keitel, and then he did the remake. Yeah. Another more modern one that like flew under a lot of people's radars, Ghost Rider 2. Shockingly fun. Like the first Ghost Rider.
Was that the one? No, I don't think I've seen 2, or I don't remember anything about it.
Ghost Rider 2 is great. It's by the guys who did Crank with Jason Statham, which is one of the best Jason Statham movies. So the movie's just it's just complete gonzo filmmaking. It's insane. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
Nice. I'll check it out.
All right.
Costanza throwing 100 bits at, you got a panty on your head.
See, people know.
Yeah.
People know.
Kyle Cotton threw out 100 bits. Said, what's the one where Cage turns into a vampire?
Once Bitten. I think it's Once Bitten.
It was around the
time. Like that.
It was terrible.
Well, it was. No, it wasn't. It was very entertaining.
All right.
There's way worse out there than that. way worse out there than that.
Worse, Keanu Reeves and Bram Stoker's worst performance.
Oh, nothing's worse than that.
Some bloody wolves chase me through a boo inferno.
Oh, Nick, just move on. It hurts too bad. It hurts too bad.
Abraham Castillo said, no intro.
Keanu Reeves and Much Ado About Nothing. Oh, it's the worst. If I had my mouth, I would bite. If I had my will, I would do my liking. But be that as I am, and seek not to alter me. Wow. Move on, please. Falling into a black hole of Keanu Reeves.
Abraham Castillo said, no intro. Too tired. Hello, everyone. Half thumbs up. Whatever. Question, Xbox or PlayStation and why? Then after you pick, how does it stack up to PC gaming? Okay, bye. Thanks. I feel I might be the only one qualified to weigh the... Well, let's do this. I have both an Xbox and a PlayStation, but I haven't bought the new generation from last fall yet. You have. You've received a PS5.
I do have. I have been blessed with a PS5.
Yes.
And also, just as a correction, they're correcting me in the chat. Once Bitten is Jim Carrey. Early Jim Carrey vampire movie. Vampire's Kiss is the Nick Cage one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
All right. Let's clear it up.
Xbox or PlayStation and why? I have both. I tend to use my Xbox for more media center activities. Like when I watch Hulu or WWE Network wrestle pay-per-views, because I've got a really nice set of Turtle Beach headphones that wirelessly connect to the Xbox over their proprietary thing. And you can get some Bluetooth ones for PS4, but I find the experience of using apps on the Xbox more enjoyable versus the PlayStation's sort of native GUI.
Their interface is a little bit more intuitive than the PlayStation's. That being said, the PS5 interface I've found to be very clean.
Cool.
PS5 all day long for me because better exclusives, I feel like the actual PS5 is better designed. The fact that you're able to actually take off the sides and clean it properly, it's a little bit more modular. I think is very much in its favor. That being said, the thing going for Xbox is its Game Pass.
Yeah, dude.
Right, like that's just a monstrous service, and the only thing
and they just absorbed Bethesda, and you get all of those with Game Pass now.
And that's the thing, is that the PlayStation company, they have been they've been saying the wrong things, the things that the gamers don't want to hear when it comes to backwards compatibility and, holding on to old games. So that's one thing that Xbox has on PS5, but it's the backwards compatibility, it's the Game Pass, and it's Halo. That's the only argument for Xbox. Aside from that, PlayStation beats them on every other metric.
Yeah.
I can't play Bloodborne on Xbox. That alone is enough for me. I can go back and play Bloodborne on PlayStation. Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be coming out for PlayStation. Demon Souls is a PlayStation exclusive. Like, it's just a no-brainer for me. I got to go PlayStation. Now, when it comes to PCs, how does it stack up to PC gaming? I don't know, because I don't have a crap ton of money to build me a PC gaming computer, which I'll then have to spend a ton of money updating every couple of months, because I'm just not that hardcore of a gamer.
Yep.
I love gaming. I'm not, to be a PC gamer, you got to be pretty hardcore, or you have to want to be a streamer. And Nick, you and I have discussed possibly doing some sort of streaming like that on this show. If that ever happens, I don't know where that money's going to come from to get that kind of hardware. As it is, my clunky 8-year-old Mac laptop is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
So,
I started out PC gaming.
You're the PC guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely the PC guy. I didn't get a console until the first Xbox. No, that's not true. I had PS2, and we had PS1, but it wasn't mine. And I had the Nintendo consoles. I had the 80s and 90s consoles. I never had an N64. My cousin got one, so I never got one. I just went over to his house to play it. So I went from Nintendo to Super Nintendo to PS1. A buddy had a Sega Dreamcast.
That's a big jump.
Right. Well, I went to a military school for 3 years, so I missed half the 90s, right?
Right.
So I come back, and there's this cool thing called PlayStation, and they have this game called Gran Turismo and Final Fantasy VII, and Nick didn't come up for air for 6 months.
Yeah, that was
between those two games, it just enveloped me. And then I got into Doom and things like that, and I got into competitive gaming around Warcraft and StarCraft, and I got into actual amateur paid tournaments around games like Unreal Tournament, Quake 3 Team Arena, and stuff like I was one of those guys that was carrying his giant monitor and PC to these places where they had these tournaments, setting it all up, and I would compete.
Landing it up, baby.
Landing it up, absolutely. And then World of Warcraft happened, and the rest is history in 2004. So I've been playing World of Warcraft now for 16 years. I've been playing World of Warcraft a long time. I've played other games along the way, and I've had Xbox and PlayStation consoles. I've had the PS2, PS3, PS4, and the Pro. And I've had the Xbox, the 360, and the S and X, whichever ones came out the last few years. I haven't gotten the new one yet, and I don't know that I will. And that's the problem I have with this generation, is that I don't, other than the game catalog, I don't see a big enough hardware difference to need it yet. There needs to be something that makes me go spend another $800 on controllers and peripherals and the system and all of that. And it's just, I haven't hit that yet, because I'm back full on PC gaming mode. We've got Diablo 2 getting remastered, and you guys might not see me for 6 months. I'm kidding, of course, but that is going to be that was one of the biggest fun games that I played outside of the competitive space back in the early 2000s. We played Diablo 2 for days on end.
Can I ask you something, Nick, before we move on here? Let's declare right now, are you Alliance or Horde?
Both. Right now, Horde.
Oh, look at you, tweener. You're a tweener.
So I definitely started out as Alliance because, they're the good guys in the very beginning, and I switched over to Horde probably 10 years ago. So I've been Horde ever since.
Okay, so you're Horde.
I'm Horde.
You're Horde.
Yeah.
All right. You're an Alliance traitor turned Horde.
Something like that. Sure.
Just want to define that for the fans.
I'm one of those completionists that plays through the quest lines of each of the different classes to get their unique stories, both Alliance and Horde. So I mean, I've had one of each of everything for as long as I can remember. It's I play a lot of World of Warcraft. Yeah,
nice.
You guys probably see it if you're in the Discord. You can see it under my name.
It's literally
got it running.
There's literally a poster behind you.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah,
there you go.
And that's my favorite character, Deathwing of the Black Dragon Flight.
Cool.
Anyway, yeah. For me, there's no competing with PC gaming, but I understand that it's not for everybody. If I had to pick between Xbox and PlayStation, PlayStation for gaming, Xbox for just about everything else. If I had to weigh it up.
All right.
He said, wait, one more. Ian, Big Hero 6 fan. I love that movie.
Have not seen it. On my list. Definitely one I need to see.
No Baymax for you? Is that dude's name?
Well, you're asking me. I haven't seen the movie.
Who was the? Okay, so it was the big. He had the big white marshmallow Michelin Man looking dude.
Yeah,
his name's
I don't know
Baymax.
his name. I thought his name was Big Hero 6.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
All right.
I gotta see the movie.
It's good. You should see it. It's really good.
I've heard.
It's good.
I've heard. I need to see it.
Okay. So
Sorry,
wait,
I'm watching all
thing.
this wrestling. God.
He wasn't done yet. Wait, last thing. I love you all in advance because I'll be dropping some scary promos soon. I'm waiting. I haven't seen them yet. And we'll say some things that are disturbing, but it is all in character. May you all die 1,000 deaths as I take my place as the grand champion. Still love you all, though. Okay, I'm done. Thanks.
Thank you, Abraham.
Can we go on now, Abraham?
No.
Kyle threw 100 bits in and said Nick hasn't seen Vampire's Kiss. You don't say. No, I haven't seen Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, you have. You watched Interview with the Vampire. They make out in that.
Oh, I have seen that.
Ha. Dad jokes here.
Thanks, Kyle.
That's what we're on right now.
Next up, good Brad Shepard. Oh, Sheppy. Says,
What's up,
hello,
sir?
BWO Phenomenal Ones. It's your boy, the good Brad Shepard. Coming at you tonight. I love that he's taken ownership of the name that we gave him. That warms my heart.
It's just true.
Yeah.
It's just true.
Oh, I love that. Coming at you tonight to proclaim the good word that is hello. Hello, that glorious word that you use in greeting family, friends, and everyday people, but that word has new meaning, as in say hello to your new grand champion for this wonderful week of WrestleMania. Just 2 quick questions, but with the release of Godzilla vs. Kong, what is your favorite overall Monsters, Aliens disaster film? Oh, man. Personally, I like Rampage, but the Godzilla King of Monsters was probably tops for me, although Independence Day will always rate very highly with me. I have a weird fascination with disaster films in that the worse they are, the more I like them.
Yeah.
So you get movies like Deep Impact and The Core. Armageddon's always in this conversation. And they're the more ridiculous, like Geostorm. That movie was
2012.
absurd. 2012. The Day After Tomorrow. We're gonna tie spikes and ice hike across New York City.
So God.
Off. I love disaster movies, and the more ridiculous and stupid that they are, the more I like them. So if I had to pick my favorite, what is your favorite overall disaster film? Man, it's like picking one of my kids. I'd probably have to go Deep Impact or Armageddon. Probably Armageddon. It's more fun.
Oh.
It's more fun. It's more ridiculous. The fact they're going to land drilling rigs on an asteroid and Steve Buscemi's going to become some weird like space warlock that it loses track of his mind. It gets so ridiculous. And we're going to jump an RV, a six-wheeler between 2 asteroids or some canyon. Like, it's so ridiculous.
We were mentioning earlier that Michael Bay did The Rock, and that was when he was like really good,
Yeah.
and this is when he turned really bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss a thing, but I wanted to miss this movie. It can absolutely kiss my ass. I hate that. I hate that. I don't like. So full disclosure, I don't like disaster films to begin with.
Okay.
They have too many characters. There's no time to give service to the characters. They're nearly always ridiculous and have to completely ignore the laws of physics and or nature for everything to work out properly. So it's, in general, I'm not a fan of disaster movies. Independence Day was really fun because at the time it was such a spectacle.
Yeah.
That it was absolutely insane. It's also so just mind-blowingly stupid.
Yeah.
Like them hacking the alien computer with a Mac, that there's.
We'll give it a cold. A virus. Have you seen
Will
Greenland yet, by the way?
Greenland?
Yes.
Gerard
Gerard Butler. Yeah.
No, I haven't.
So I know what you're thinking. A Gerard Butler disaster movie. However, it addresses every single thing you just said you hate about disaster movies, in that it humanizes it instead of it being the spectacle.
At least with San Andreas, I had Paul Giamatti being somewhat, bringing his acting chops to the scientist role, so I could somewhat believe it.
And The Rock was flying a helicopter.
The Rock was flying a helicopter.
If you smell what The Rock is flying.
I'll say Independence Day for the aliens one. Just like I said, I got warm memories of that. I saw it in the theater. I was working at the theater when that was out, so I saw it like 10 times.
Yeah.
Although if he's allowing in Godzilla movies, I'll throw in Shin Godzilla in there. That was an awesome Godzilla movie.
Okay.
More recent one.
I've been waiting for this moment. Let's do it live on the air. I need your 60-second reaction now that we've both seen it to Godzilla versus Kong.
Fan freaking tastic. Tons of fan service. Another movie where like again, you got to turn your brain off. It's dumb as a box of rocks, but this is one where I could and there's just physics and distances and characters that just are there to just fill space, and it has all those problems with it. And every time that it's not about the monsters, I just want to die. But the monster stuff is so freaking good in it, and it's so badass that I loved it. And part of the reasons I loved it...
We're not doing spoilers, Jesse. Don't worry.
...is because it was, in some ways, a wrestling movie.
Oh.
A lot of wrestling logic used in this movie. A lot of booking that you would see in wrestling.
A lot of little 50-50 booking going on.
Little 50-50 booking going on there. Yeah, so no, and there's moves as well that are very wrestling. You'll see if you watch it.
Yeah,
I loved it. I had a blast.
It's so good. Like, I've watched it 3 times already.
And of course, we can't do spoilers, so I can't talk about the moment that I texted you about, Nick.
Yep.
But in the middle of watching it, there was a fan service moment where your boy Ian lost his mind.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah. So it was great.
I didn't see that coming.
No.
A mile away.
I should have seen it coming, but I didn't.
Okay, so Brad Sipper says, second, which is your greatest natural disaster film? Mine probably going to be a tie between Dante's Peak and The Day After Tomorrow. Although I do thoroughly enjoy Twister, it didn't seem as unsurvivable as the others.
Yeah, just drive the opposite direction. Whereas Dante's Peak, they kill the grandma.
Oh, God. I forgot about that.
She jumps in the boiling lake.
That's Pierce Brosnan, right?
Oh, yeah. And Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton, that's right.
Yeah, I like Dante's Peak.
94,
it's all right.
I think that was.
I also like Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones and the La Brea tar pits erupting into lava. That wasn't bad either.
Disaster movie. Twister's definitely up there for me.
I like Towering Inferno.
That's a classic.
I think my number one's gonna have to be Poseidon Adventure though, because it's the one with the coolest characters.
Yeah.
It's the one with the most believable. Poseidon Adventure is amazing.
That was the cruise ship that flipped upside down. Kurt Russell.
Yeah, there's a scene in it where Kurt Russell. No, I thought it was Gene.
There was one called Poseidon.
Oh, that was the remake.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was Gene Hackman, and
that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's this scene where he's trying to lead them out of the ballroom, and they're all like, everyone's just like, "No, who are you?" And they all start arguing amongst themselves, and he goes like, "I'm trying to save you," and they all go, "No, we don't want to go with you." And then he just has to leave them all because they'd rather argue than figure out a way to be saved. And that to me was very poignant after last year.
Volcano's a good one.
I'll leave it at that.
That's a good one. I haven't seen that in
not bad.
a long
It's
time.
not bad.
I want to go watch that again.
So there you go, Brad Shepard.
Enjoy
our disaster movie picks, even from me, who doesn't really like.
If you have not seen Godzilla vs. Kong,
watch the other ones.
A way to do it.
Watch the other 3 first.
Yes,
it does make it better.
Yes, it does build.
It does. Lots of payoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, Marshall says, evening, fellas. As we all know, there are certain wrestlers that no matter what, they'll be purely face or purely heel, no matter what you do to change it. What are some actors, men and women, you consider purely heel or purely face, no matter what role they have? For me, it's Dylan McDermott, because he just has the look and presence of a bad guy, and can make you hate him real quick. Love all the work you do, fellas. So I'll definitely be knocking back some shots this week in your honor. Thank you, Marshall.
Interesting question.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson is always a heel. Hard stop. I don't care if you try to cast him as a good guy. I don't believe it.
You know when you're watching a movie and a guy shows up and you just go, that's the bad guy.
Yeah.
All of the Skarsgårds.
No.
All of the Skarsgård. When they show up, that's
Alexander?
That's the villain.
No.
That's the villain. No. Stellan usually.
Yes.
Stellan Skarsgård's in a movie. That's the bad guy.
Okay, so there's the 2 sons, and there's the good son and the evil son.
And Alex, I think, are the 2 sons.
So Alex is the one that always looks like a good guy to me, and Peter, the one that played Pennywise. Yeah, he's the one you just go, okay, something wrong with that boy.
I'm not gonna mess with that dude.
There's something wrong with that boy. There's something disturbing. So it's like they split Stellan in half. They like took his DNA and they split it, and like you have the good one, because Stellan can be like the kind of like the funny, doddering old scientist guy, or he can be the most like satanically evil person you ever seen in a movie. He can go both ways. But his son's like, one is the very evil one, and one's the good one. That's great.
Yeah.
So other faces, Brad Pitt, I can't see as being evil. I'm even trying to think when he played evil in a movie. Like, when was he ever?
Fight Club.
He wasn't even evil then. He was like the charismatic guy who you wanted to be.
Yeah, kind of
right?
A bit of an anti-hero, yeah.
He was quote unquote the bad guy, but even then, like, he wasn't a bad, like, he was a bad guy, but he wasn't, you were still like, he's cool. That was kind of the point of the movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you still wanted to be him, even though he was a dick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think when Brad Pitt has played an evil character. I don't think he has. Even Tom Cruise. I was going to say Tom Cruise.
I was going to say Tom Cruise.
Well, the Michael Mann movie. What was the Michael Mann movie with Jamie Foxx that he was in?
Collateral.
Collateral. Only time he's that one, and then he had to get tons of makeup to be in Tropic Thunder as a heel.
Yeah.
Because he just naturally comes across as a babyface.
Kyle said Michael J. Fox, pure white meat babyface right there.
Pure white
There is no pure
babyface. You don't get purer than Michael J. Fox.
James Spader is almost always a bad guy. Except in Stargate.
When he was a babyface, because he was so young, and then all of his evil predilections that he has in real life came out.
All his ticks, all his little, his James Spader things start.
Yeah.
The way
Speaking of James,
his little head moves.
James Woods, natural born heel, and reflective of real life, because he is an absolute piece of shit.
I'm thinking of Russell Crowe is coming to mind as
goes both ways. Nah,
yeah, he's a bit of a
ways.
tweener.
He can go. He's a tweener. Who else?
The only movie I've seen him be a bad guy in, though, that I can remember is the latest one that he did called Rage or something.
His very first American movie was Virtuosity. He played a bad guy.
That's true. I remember from Insider and Gladiator.
No, he can play a heel, big time heavy. He was Javert in Les Miserables.
Yeah,
he
that's true. That's a good point.
Come on now. Let's get a couple more here, and then we'll call it.
What about some ladies?
Some women. I was just thinking women.
Natasha Henstridge. That's a bad chick.
What? She comes across. I think the whole point was she looks like a baby face, but then she's like, but she's really an alien, right?
Who else am I thinking of? Charlize Theron.
I would say Angelica Houston, but she's also she's Mama Addams.
I'm gonna give you one. Dame Judi Dench. She's
always a face.
Always a face.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm saying
but
she's a face.
But I'm saying I was going to say she's my Lady Macbeth. When I first saw Lady Macbeth, she was Lady Macbeth. So she's always Lady Macbeth to me. So she's not a pure one way or the other to me. Maggie Smith, I would say. I mean, if everyone didn't know her from Harry Potter, she would visually come across more as a heel. Everyone knows her as like the kind of, salty old teacher mom.
Yeah.
Who
Who is a leading lady that has never been bad?
That has never been bad?
I'm struggling here.
Yeah, same.
Same.
I'm
was that Kyle with Glenn Close? Yeah, always that. She's the bad guy.
Nah, but
she's had a few roles where she was the good one, but
where she was the good one. She was awesome, like in Air Force One. But I'm thinking of like, she was Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians, Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, Fatal Attraction. Yes.
So she was kind of typecast as the heel for a while there. Rebecca De Mornay, heel AF.
Yep.
She's a bad woman. What was she was also an actress kind of in the Rebecca De Mornay mold of like broken blondes. The woman who she played a babyface all the time. Yeah. No, the woman she was in a bunch of movies in the mid to late 90s, of course. But she was the lead opposite Michael Douglas in David Fincher's The Game. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
I do. I need to Google it.
Because she always came across as heel to me.
Nope, that's the TV series. Game 97.
Deborah Kara Unger.
Okay, I need to see her picture because the name's not ringing a bell. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Also, Danny Trejo, always a heel. Looks like a heel. That was literally how he got cast and everything. Was he just screams heel?
Oh, fun fact. She was also in the Silent Hill movie.
Yes, she was. That's right. She played the mom.
Dahlia, yeah.
Mm-hmm. God, I love that movie.
Oh, that movie's so good.
Oh, it's so good. All right, we got to move on.
Yep.
But there's a bunch of them.
Yep. There you go. Thank you, Marshall.
That's a great question, Marshall. Thank you.
Kyle throwing 100 bits said talking about Godzilla versus Kong. The first hour really dragged for me in the. I don't want to read that, Kyle. I don't want to spoil anything. Great ending, but Kong is still the best all-around film of this. I'm assuming this series.
That's so funny. It was the weakest one.
Yeah.
Great action.
I liked Godzilla versus Kong 100 times more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It caught me completely off guard and surprised the hell out of me. Thank you, Kyle. Will James throwing 100 bits said Giancarlo Esposito has come on recently as a great pure heel. Gus Frayne, Moff Gideon, for those that don't know. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's also in the new Far Cry game as a heel.
Ooh.
He's like playing like the Central American dictator.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
About time Giancarlo got some work.
No kidding. Not just being a chicken man that peddles meth. Oh, spoiler alert. Sorry if you haven't seen Breaking Bad yet. Since 2008.
Killing me, son. Killing me.
Yeah. Next up, Kyle. Thank you, Will. Next, Kyle says, over the last few weeks, I've seen the debate regarding the effectiveness of the Performance Center in response to
Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken's always heel, except for Deer Hunter.
Frankenstein never scared me.
All right. Let's not break into the Christopher Walkens. That's going to...
Marsupials do.
You're an eggplant. Move on.
Christopher Walken in Man on Fire. I love it.
In everything.
Literally everything.
From the Fat Boy Slim video. He's always magnificent. The Dead Zone. He played a face for once.
Oh.
All right, come on, let's go.
Over the last few weeks, I've seen the debate regarding the effectiveness of the Performance Center in response to how much growth Tay Conti has made in the last year, which of course can be tracked back to Uncle Dave. To me, I find the narrative flawed around the PC in terms of preparing talent, as just this week you have 3 women who you can largely credit to the Performance Center all vying for the 3 top women's titles in the company, and all of them have earned those positions, and that's before you get into other performers like Braun, Alexa, etc. My question is, do you feel that conversation around the PC from both fans and those cover the industry is reductive and missing the real issue, which to me is talent not having an avenue to grow as performers outside of house shows? And while that's fine wrestling for TV, fine wrestling, It's getting late, guys. And while that's fine, wrestling for TV is different and can only be learned from doing it, which is difficult to do when you have so many people ready in front of you. Seeing Tay Conti grow with all these reps has been a treat because I saw this potential in her NXT run. I'm seeing similar growth with Aaliyah now that she's getting more reps. And I think we've said that as well about Aaliyah.
Yep.
Where did I lose it? And to add to this question, how does WWE fix this issue where they find people who aren't from a wrestling background but have potential to be a star if given an opportunity? Do you think the rumored NXT Evolve could help fix this?
That's a hell of a question, Kyle. It's a great question, and it's actually worthy of a pretty good discussion.
Yeah.
Largely because there's a lot of angles to this, a lot of aspects to this. Was Tay Conti let down by the Performance Center and she only grew because she went to AEW, or did she have a good base in the Performance Center and that's why she's succeeding in AEW?
Finally had an opportunity to
showcase herself. Yeah. Right, exactly. Are all these people that come out of the PC products of that environment? The thing is, what it's really going to come down to is a case-by-case basis for all of this. We can say that on the general, the PC is doing good work because on the general, they produced a lot of really good stars. We're not seeing a lot of the people that wash out of NXT. We don't hear a lot about them. We're not hearing a lot about all the people that are in there and just being held back and not getting anything that's on TV. Like Omos went through the whole system. We didn't even see him till he was, the big ninja on main roster and then the bodyguard for Shane McMahon's little backstage experiment. So part of it is the people that thrive in that environment of the PC and really, that system works for them. We're seeing those people that are made successful by that come out on top. It's like people that are good. You've heard this before, Nick. In the American education system, people who test well, people who are really good at taking tests, are going to go further in life because that's how the system is based. It's a test-based system. Now, if you're good at learning and retaining information, but you're better at explaining it verbally, but you're not good at tests, you might not get as far because your grades aren't going to be as good because you're not going to show up as doing as well on tests. Even though you might understand the material, you're not going to be able to display how well you know that material as well. So it's the environment as much as anything. We're seeing people come out of that environment that get how they're working well within that environment. So, Tay Conti, who knows? Maybe there were some things about the PC that she retained, but obviously she said in interviews there was elements of it that was frustrating. She's not good at going to higher ups and fighting for herself to be on TV, at pitching ideas.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, the system that's in AEW right now is working for her. And you can, go up and down the list. There are people who couldn't deal with the training center under Bill DeMott because he was a bully, because he was a piece of crap. And you have people that are still scarred by that and somehow survived that system and are still in WWE and talk about how bad it was. And you have people who washed out of that system and are now other places and are like, yeah, I'm not in WWE because Bill DeMott drove me out of there. Kenny Omega, for example. So there's definitely something to be said for the environment that is there, and unless you're there, you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So we as commentators really can't say,
well, I can.
Okay, what's your opinion on it?
So my take on it is, and again, Kyle, great discussion topic here.
Yeah.
I look at the Performance Center and what makes it special and align it to what makes working in tech in Silicon Valley special. If you look at a lot of the bigger tech companies, they all foster environments of open collaboration. So there's open concepts, there's no cubicles, or there's, you'll see these rooms full of bean bags and foosball tables, and you'll think it's like this kind of joke, but what it does is it facilitates open collaboration and comfortable environments to be able to have conversations like that. I look at the PC and to bounce ideas off of your colleagues, right? And just maybe they can help you with something you don't know all the specifics on. If you look at the PC, it's the same kind of environment. It's a giant gym. There's multiple rings, and it's there as a breeding ground for open collaboration with wrestling. And especially when we had Dusty there, doing the training classes, doing the mock demos of their promos and things like that. That's the kind of stuff that we do in tech to really build new ideas. A lot of R&D is born out of me playing foosball with somebody. right?
Sure.
Just having lunch on the same beanbag across from somebody else. So I can only imagine the experience of what being in the PC on a day-to-day basis, 6-7 days a week, is like when you have people that are all chasing the same goal as you, and you want someone that understands what you're trying to do to kind of critique it and constructively help you shape it. That's a beautiful environment to breed that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a famous story about writers' rooms, and you had like Saturday Night Live, right? Like depending on who's writing Saturday Night Live, and giving them an environment to write funnier stuff in.
Yeah.
Or The Simpsons, where they were talking about, once upon a time there was a writers' room where they would come in and they would like race office chairs and like throw spitballs for the first 2 hours, and then spend an hour writing some of the best episodes of Simpsons history. And now it's like you have to come in and like you're writing from the get-go.
Yeah.
And just a different environment produces a different result. So it's, as you said, Nick, it depends on what kind of environment they're creating for their talent there, and who's going to benefit more from what kind of environment.
Yeah, it's a great point. Thank you very much, Kyle. Really good topic. Next up, Chris Costanza says, I'm not very hyped for Mania. Chances of surprise returns? Also, thoughts on Jericho on the Broken Skull sessions.
Nice. Surprise returns, I think I've said my big one could be Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
That's the big one that I expect.
I'll put it this way. I'll be surprised if Becky doesn't make some kind of appearance.
Yeah, it's just too big of an event. Like I don't see any reason why she wouldn't, unless she's not ready to come back full time. But even then, they might be able to pull something out.
For those of you that have been watching the Hall of Fame chat, was Becky Lynch at the Hall of Fame ceremony with Seth tonight? I'd be curious, because that could be kind of an indication.
That might also be playing their hand too much.
Maybe.
Either way.
Well, if she's not there, that could definitely be an indicator that she's going to make an appearance this weekend.
You could wind yourself up either way if you wanted to, Nick.
Exactly. Kyle says no, she wasn't there.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there you go, Nick.
Everybody put their tinfoil hats on.
That proves the very thing that could have been proved by her actually being there too. Yeah.
Are you hyped about Jericho on the Broken Skull sessions? And what say you about the, dare I call it, the forbidden door being opened up and bringing AEW top star back to WWE?
So there's a reason that Chris is asking this, and that is that there's a discussion about what does this mean?
Yeah.
It's not, hey, is it cool that he's on the show? Yes, that's okay. We all agree. It's cool that Jericho's on the show. What does it mean? I don't think it means that much. You have CM Punk going on record and saying that this means that Vince isn't afraid of AEW. And that is working under the assumption that people were wondering if Vince was scared of AEW. I never thought Vince was scared of AEW because that indicates Vince sees them as a threat.
Yeah.
I've never believed that Vince sees them as a threat. He's so far ahead of them in terms of everything. Like, I think that's misreading the situation entirely. Vince is aware of them. Vince he's not unaware. He's not just going to like let them do their own thing. He'll throw some obstacles here and there, but this is a situation where, Vince is a battleship and he sees a, little schooner off to the side. It's fine.
Yeah.
That schooner might one day grow into being a big, powerful ship, but he's not worried about it right now. Jericho, he's got a good relationship with Jericho. Jericho's even said that he talked to Vince, like they were on the outs for a little bit, but they talked about it and they're okay now. And
apparently
Stone Cold
Vince wished him well on his way to go to AEW.
Yeah, and apparently like it was back and forth. Like they've had like times where they were talking and times where they weren't, and there's been some like miscommunications between them that made things salty for a while. But overall, they're not on unfriendly terms in the general sense. And Stone Cold said apparently that he texted Vince and said, "Hey, what would you think about me having Jericho on?" And Vince said, he sent him like a little, thumbs up emoji. And Stone Cold said, "I just want to clarify, you're cool with me having Jericho on?" And Vince said, "Yeah, go for it."
I think there was an interview with Jericho when it was first announced that he was. I think it was Chris Van Vliet. He was on Van Vliet's show before AEW when it was just firing up. And I remember him saying something about his first phone call when the AEW conversation started was to Vince.
Yes,
and Vince said, "Go forth and conquer." Gave him his blessing.
Here's the other reason why Vince doesn't care if Jericho goes on Broken Skull. Vince owns the tapes, so it doesn't matter what they say on the show. It's not live.
Right.
If they go off, if it's a 2-hour interview, and for 1 hour and 50 minutes they talk about AEW, it's going to be a 10-minute Broken Skull session. You know what I mean? Like, Vince has final cut on this.
Yeah.
So anything that they do on that Vince doesn't like, he can take care of it. So of course Vince isn't scared about this. Yeah. And he knows it's also, there's money to be made here. This is a guy who brought back people we thought he would never work with again. Warrior. Macho Man never really came back. But you know what I mean? He finally let him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
People who know, Jeff Jarrett. He did business with him again. So, yeah.
And frankly, look at who he's had on Broken Skull so far. It's been Undertaker, Goldberg, Big Show, staples of the Attitude Era.
Staples. I'll tell you right now,
Jericho is absolutely in that ilk of staples.
He's an absolute legend, a first ballot Hall of Famer when he decides to, hang it up. Even if he goes to AEW, this proves that they're willing to do business. I think they'll probably say you can't work for AEW anymore.
Yeah.
To go in the Hall of Fame, but at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the only thing that will surprise me about this Broken Skull Sessions episode is if they talk about AEW.
Yeah, what made him go over there kind of thing.
Or even if they talk about what he's doing over there and how things have been. Like, if they have any kind of discussion about the competition, that will surprise me.
I'll be pleasantly surprised, yeah.
Because they have a whole bunch of history to talk about, and I suspect Vince will rather them talk about that.
Yeah, I agree.
So, there you go.
Thank you, Chris. Next up, Patrick Kennedy says, "Hey, guys, no question this week. Just wanted to wish you all in the Phenomenal Ones good luck on this crazy ride we're all about to take together. But luck will only get you so far because you are looking at your new BWO Pick'ems champion. See you all at the finish line."
Ooh, all right, Patrick. I like it.
I like it.
Big words.
Hot fire.
Bring it on.
Bring it. Next up, Kenneth Tabili says, "Not sure if I made it in time. You did. But I'm going to try anyway. Hey, y'all, hope you guys are prepared for the upcoming week. This isn't really a wrestling question, but more so a gaming one." Ooh. I like this. Ian has mentioned his love for the Souls series of video games.
Ooh.
So this is mostly for Ian. Although, Nick, if you have an answer, by all means answer. As someone that once ran a semi-big Dark Souls Facebook fan page, I completely understand your love of the series. What is your favorite Soulsborne type of game? You can even consider Shadow Tower or Kingsfield games if you'd like to. Excited to hear your answers. Thanks, guys, for the show. Good luck in the upcoming week. To everyone out there for the Pick'ems, good luck. If I were better at talking shit, I'd cut some sort of a promo. Thank you, Kenneth.
Very, very nice of you. Wishes everybody luck.
Yes.
That's a good dude right there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kenneth. Souls-esque games, Soulsborne style games. It's funny because so many of them. It's kind of like what I was saying earlier about National Treasure. Like, it just makes me, every time I play one, I just want to go back and play a Souls game.
Yeah.
If I play Mortal Shell, I go, this is good. Mortal Shell is actually probably one of the better ones that I've played that's like a direct, like, Souls-like. But it just makes me want to go back and play actual Souls games. I've tried it with a few of them. With a Surge, Lords of the Fallen, and I'm just like, okay, I see what you're going for here, guys, but it just doesn't have that. It's not balanced. It doesn't have that feel. It's not quite right. The only one that I would say has Souls-like elements that I really got, that's actually two. They're actually more roguelikes or Metroidvanias. Dead Cells and Hollow Knight both had elements of Souls-like in them. Also, Salt and Sanctuary. Salt and Sanctuary is probably one of my favorite Souls-likes. Then they're all side-scrollers. And I think the fact that they don't feel so close to a Soulsborne game is one of the reasons why I like them. A lot of the mechanics of the games are similar in terms of death and rebirth and learning bosses and so forth. Exploration. But it doesn't feel quite as apples to apples as the Souls games. So there you go.
I don't have any experience with them. I never really got into Dark Souls.
Yeah, no, you're scared.
You're scared of them. It's not that. It's just there's only
scared
24 hours in a day.
So it's okay to admit it. It's okay.
I'm more RPG. I like RPGs. I mean, I go all the way back to Dragon Quest It's like I've always Zelda. I've always liked RPG games, right?
These are honestly, dude, to me, these feel like kind of a modern iteration of like a Zelda game in some ways.
I look
because
at
they are
Skyrim
RPGs.
as a modern RPG, and there's
Sure.
some elements of that kind of stuff in there, and deep lore and all of that stuff. Like
love
if there
me
was
some
one
Skyrim.
game that distracted me from World of Warcraft, it was Skyrim.
Yep.
Like I play.
One of
Well, I don't want to dig it off the bookcase. There's an entire like book down there of the entire lore of Skyrim. But that was one that took my attention for a couple of years. Anyway, I haven't really gotten. There's just I see people playing them. It just doesn't look that exciting to me. Yeah, I know that breaks your heart.
No, it's just you're so wrong.
Yeah,
they're so exciting.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Okay,
Costanza threw in 100 bits, said better chances of return. Lesnar, CM Punk, Jericho.
Lesnar.
Easily. I'll be surprised if he doesn't return at some point in the next.
Jericho's too busy over in AEW. Punk, I think if he does come back, it won't be with WWE. He's just too proud of a dude. Lesnar, it's just a matter of money and desire.
Yep.
Could be any time.
Yep.
I think the only reason he hasn't is just he doesn't want to work for them in the pandemic, and so they let the contract lapse. They'll open up a new one as soon as he's willing to travel again.
Yep.
That's it. You might see Lesnar back by the end of the year. I will say you definitely won't see Jericho back in WWE by the end of the year, and it's a 95% chance you won't see CM Punk in WWE. If CM Punk does return, it would be probably with AEW or in a mask for a little indie somewhere.
Yeah.
So
I think Punk might be done. I think he's hung him up. I think he's good.
Quite possibly.
Yep. And finally, rounding out the show tonight, Miss Jessie O'Connor snuck hers in. Thank you very much for getting it in. Says, hey guys, I'm back and I'm here to do my very best at claiming the grand champion title. This rookie is going to put up a fight, so y'all better watch out. Okay, you can stop laughing now, but I will be the best mid-card Patreon I can be.
Huh.
That's kind of adorable.
Don't count yourself out.
Never count yourself out.
Reach for the stars.
Yep. My question for you today is a little more personal, as I've been spending a lot of time fighting my mental demon lately. I've named her Mazikeen. I hope that's the right way to pronounce it.
Nice.
She's a badass, but not the good guy in my story.
Great reference to Lucifer and Sandman there.
Nice. What's your favorite thing to throw on, be it a TV show or movie, to get you out of being lost in your own head for too long? Sometimes I can't bring myself to get out and do anything as I'm tired from work, but I want to just get lost in some TV to bring some serotonin to my ADHD brain. Stay phenomenal, guys. Thanks for everything y'all do for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Why don't you take this one first there, Nick?
Yeah,
what do you throw on? What you got?
For me, I've not been clinically diagnosed, but I have a very creative brain where it's chaos going on in there 24/7. And they say that if you look at a creative person's room, it kind of looks like what's going on inside their head. And this studio in here it's chaos.
Oh, Jesus,
if I
really?
Step outside
I'm looking
of
around
my body and
right
look
now.
at,
oh, God.
There's cables everywhere. There's 3 PCs torn apart and pieces laying everywhere. There's a workshop over there. It's chaos. There's
dogs running around. It's madhouse.
Yeah, mass hysteria. So for me, World of Warcraft, and here's the most important thing I want to say about this. The kind of work that I do outside of the show, is very burnout prone. Like it is very intense. And I am constantly just dancing that line of pushing it over the edge of burnout. For me, my escape, the way that I reset, is marathon sessions of World of Warcraft, of video games, right? It gives me an escape. It's a way to not. I put the big headphones on, I slide the music all the way up, and I just escape into this world for 4 to 6 hours. And that's what I do on Saturday nights. Most Saturday nights. Put Esther to bed, put the puppies down, and I come in here and play video games for about 6 to 8 hours, and that is my weekly reset that helps me get out of that. If I don't do that the following week, and Esther is proof of that, she can see it in me. It's visible in my work. It's visible in my attention. Like if I don't have that reset time, that expulsion of all of that built up, pent up energy, it's visible. For TV, my Lord of the Rings and Star Wars movies, I'm also a bit OCD in the sense that not clinically again, but I mean, just if I watch one thing, I have to watch the entire series.
Yes.
So if I'm going to watch Lord of the Rings, I don't just start with Two Towers. I have to go back to The Hobbit and watch all 3 Hobbits, and then I watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. And extended editions only. If I watch Star Wars, begrudgingly as it might seem to everybody, and I'm working through this one right now, I start with Phantom Menace and I work through all of the Star Wars movies, right? Harry Potter's, I'm the same way, right? Fast and the Furious movies. I have to watch all of them before I can move on to watch something else.
Jesus.
So that's my way of doing that.
No wonder you're burned out.
Well,
you're burned out from watching all these extra movies.
But it's mindless because I've seen them so many times, and it's comfortable, and it's an escape, and I don't have to concentrate or focus on it. Most of the time, I fall asleep. And that's kind of the intended effect. It checks my brain out, it shuts me down, and I can finally fall asleep. Because I don't sleep a lot.
Right. No.
It would scare you guys to know how little sleep I get.
Yes. Especially with the puppy around.
And then there's the puppy that just compounded things to a whole other level. Anyway, that's mine. Ian, how about you?
It's not too dissimilar. I've actually been struggling lately to find things that I can do to get that serotonin because I've been making myself so busy. I've kept myself extremely busy for the last decade or more. And actually the last year has been a tough adjustment period of trying to finding myself, well, I don't have as many work things to do. And so I've been finding all these other things to do instead. And mostly that's been working on the show, watching stuff for the show, whether it's wrestling that we watch for the show or old wrestling just to catch up on my knowledge. But also, video games for sure. We just mentioned the Soul series, like I'll go back and start a new character or another, start a new adventure game. If like, a Ghost of Tsushima kind of thing comes out, like, I'll go do that. But again, like you, where it's, if I sit down for it, it's not going to be for an hour or two. It's, I need a good chunk of time. I need 6 to 8 hours. Cause that's how long I'm going to take before I finally go, okay,
I'm
got it out of my system.
I'm out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no like, I'm going to play video games for 45 minutes and then I'm going to go and do. No, there's no 45 minutes.
That's what these are for.
There's no watching half a movie. There's no watching one episode of a TV show. That's if I watch one episode of a TV show, I get the itches afterwards. I gotta watch more.
Yeah.
I can't stop. So, yeah. So I'm with you.
For those listening, that was me slapping my arm, not another thing.
Thank you for clarifying that, Nick. And on that note,
on that bombshell.
And yes, Jesse's in the chat. Lord of the Rings are the greatest ever. Thankfully, I just got that. Now that I have the PS5, I'm going to get them in 4K. 4K.
Is it the extendeds?
Dolby Atmos. Of course, it's the extended, son.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yes.
I'm surprised Warner Brothers hasn't put those on HBO Max yet. That's kind of what I'm holding out for.
Yet. Yeah. I think there's somewhere streaming right now.
Yeah, but it's not the 4K extended editions.
Oh no, God, no.
That's what I'm holding out for.
Oh yeah. Trying to sell those DVDs first.
Right.
Or the discs first. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
But there you go. There, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 75 of our patron mailbag show. Thank you very much. For those of you who made it all the way to the end, thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who asked questions. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being phenomenal. Thank you for helping out this show with your patronage. If you're not a patron yet, go to patreon.com/BWO. Sign up for one of our tiers. You too can be a part of the show. Ask a question of us to be answered right here every week on this very show, Nick. And yeah, linktree.com/BWO.
That's it.
You know the rest.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go there, like, share, subscribe, do all the things that you guys know how to do at this point. And patrons, one final reminder, the NXT Pick'em sheets are up on Patreon. You can find the link over there to that. Make sure that you take your time and go through it. Don't select the same number twice. You might want to write them out on a piece of paper and then go and fill them in just to be able to keep track of everything. There's a lot of matches. There's 10 matches to pick for NXT, and there's going to be 14 matches to pick for WrestleMania. So do some diligence ahead of time. You've got numbers 1 through 10 to pick, and assigned to each of corresponding match. And you've got the 14 matches that you're going to pick, unless they throw something new at us between now and Saturday, which they're likely to do.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, we will not be picking Tony versus Zoe because they
got
screwed
announced
us.
too late.
They put it in too late.
And they're going to do that.
just
They're
gonna
probably going to do it for Mania as well by the time we send the But once the sheets are out there, there's already over 15 submissions. We can't change it at this point.
We're locked in.
So
we're locked in.
Yeah. But thank you guys very much for hanging with us on this Tuesday night, kicking off WrestleMania week. We are excited. Woo! Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, NXT Stand and Deliver Night 1. We will be back on immediately afterwards, breaking down everything that happened on Night 1, results, recaps, analysis, all of that stuff. Night 2 on Thursday, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Again, back on with a recap show for Thursday. Friday, we'll be breaking down SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, and maybe some other stuff that happened out of Stand and Deliver. We'll have to see. Saturday, we're back for WrestleMania, and then BWO Live again for a recap of what went down on Night 1 of WrestleMania. And Sunday, Night 2, and BWO Live again Sunday night. We got a lot of wrestling happening over the next 6 days, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys for being here with us. Shout out to everybody on YouTube and Facebook and all of you here on Twitch. Thank you for all the bits and subs. We love you guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Appreciate it.
Seriously.
Thanks for being here with us. But until tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
My name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at Data Center Dude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But my God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.